40 hours, dozens of islands, one huge journey. I've officially finished Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, and today I'm delivering the final verdict. Nick and Dave are battling through Resident Evil 2 Remake and Raccoon City, while Nick and I return to Diablo II Resurrected, Reign of the Warlock, to see if this new class changes everything. We're also settling the score on Sony's State of Play and Diablo 30, and diving into drama surrounding Highguard. I'm Chris, that's Nick and Dave, and this is Grinding Game Podcast. Let's start the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Grinding Game, Episode 8. We are back together here, all three of us, coming off that Sony State of Play and Diablo 30. But before we get into any of that news, boys, how are you doing?
Doing good, brother.
Yeah, you go ahead, Dave. What you got?
Well, I stayed up a little late last night playing Resident Evil 2 Remastered, and I know we're gonna get into it a lot later, but it has definitely pulled me in quite a bit more than Resident Evil 5, and I was paying the price today. Went out working, and put in a long day's work, and was quite tired from gaming last night, and I thought that Nick had stayed on late too. It was showing him logged into Resident Evil, so I was sending him some invites. But I think you just leave your Xbox on or something last night.
Yeah, I made a little quick meal and I just left the Xbox on and changed my input and started watching some TV and ate my food, and then I went to bed. And so I woke up to a game invite and I was like, oh no, man, because I was getting into it too, man. And I know we'll hit it, but a lot of excitement. What's been going on for me too? Same thing. I stayed up, not late, but I stayed up a little bit and played, hit some sticks on it, watched a little show, got to bed. Busy work week, a whole lot of things going on at work. And so just trying to knock that out and getting really excited. Something I got to break the news to you boys, man. I'm looking at the calendar here and we have Requiem dropping on the 27th, Friday.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to be in the great state of Kentucky that day with a pre-planned trip that I made about a year ago. So
foolish boy.
Someone's got a little extra carry-on luggage when I sneak in a Series X for the trip.
Everyone's gonna be on their bourbon tours. Like, where's Nick at?
Yeah.
Get the Rogue Ally X for, isn't it $1,000?
Yeah, that's a good move. I'll just grab that and then be too shit-faced to even enjoy the game.
And end up breaking that thing in half.
Yeah. There's no need to jump in on day one. I'd be pumped to be having a trip coming up.
Oh, I am.
And then you have something, maybe you can, because I was reading something that you can pre-install it on like the 25th or something like that, like a couple days in advance. You can't play it, but you can pre-install it on your Xbox or PlayStation or whatever. And then, so you could always do that. And then you come home from the trip and it's ready to go.
I'm not going to be able to help myself. I'm going to bring the Xbox.
Good thing is, too, though, you won't be leaving too soon because you'll still be able to jump into that stress test the day before with Dave and I for Marathon.
That's right.
Oh, the server slam?
Yeah, I can't wait for that, man. I'm excited for that coming up. Well, same for me, boys. Actually, we had a really good weekend. The wife and I, we did like a Valentine's Day thing, took some time off of work, just celebrated, went out to these hot springs hotels for 2 days and had a nice dinner when we got back at our favorite restaurant around here. So that was really nice. And then you guys have seen him and our listeners have seen him too. Crispy, our little corgi, his birthday was this weekend. He just turned 2. So we did a little celebration for him. Yeah. I meant to shut the doors behind me. You can see all the way into the other room. But
CT went out and got wined and dined over the weekend.
We also got him what's it called? Oh, one of those giant herding balls. So those two have just been attacking this thing throughout the house and just crashing into everything. So it's been a lot of fun with that. But now today was my first day back at work, getting back into the swing of things. You guys know how it is after taking a good 5 days off. So trying to just play catch up all day. And for any of those that were listening to me now, so if I sound a little tired today, boys, just know that I'm bringing the energy as much as I can. So don't give up on me. But yeah, it's been a really good weekend. One good thing is you guys probably already had a feeling because we were talking throughout the weekend. I did finish Dragon Quest, and we'll touch into that a little bit when it's what we've been playing section. But that's good, boys. I'm glad y'all have been jumping into RE2. I'm excited to hear about that in a little bit as well. But before we do that, I have a little warm-up question for you. And it's playing off just finishing Dragon Quest VII. So if you could give any PS1 or Nintendo 64 era RPG the DQ7 Reimagined treatment, modern visuals, everything, and it's about a 40-hour streamlined experience, which game are you picking and why, Nick?
Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I remember on N64, because that was a drop for that game. It was, and I don't think I picked it up until the GameCube, if I think correctly. But it is still one of my favorite RPGs of all time. It is, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that game. I remember, man, when I first played that game, I got into a lot of trouble for getting the game. And how I got the game was I did a fundraiser for the school, and the little rat I was at the time, I had no money, so I collected some dollars for some cookies, and I went to the GameStop, and I told my father, I said, he was going to pick out any game for me. And I said, don't you worry about it. I got the funds for the game. So I used a little cookie money to get me Ocarina of Time. And I played it for probably a day before, I had to turn the fundraiser in. And I had to go bring the game back and couldn't play it for a good bit until I finally got into it. But I'll say, man, like that game, there were so many cool little parts of it. One, I was a huge, and still am a huge Legend of Zelda fan, but it really was, to me, one of the main basis of RPGs, right? You were able to get the horse. You had to like learn the notes. It had the skill with it of remembering the music. It had a great story. It was I guess you'd call it open world, if I think back to when I first played it. But it's kind of linear story, but you can kind of pick and choose where you went. And I would just think it would be so cool to see that type of Legend of Zelda, the old school remastered HD graphics. They maybe add a little bit more to it. Maybe they expand it open a little bit more. Because I kind of think one of my favorite Legend of Zelda games, not to get too deep down the rabbit hole, was Wind Waker 2, where you were able to really like kind of get into open world in that game.
I love the art style of that game too. Always have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much fun. So I think just a fresh coat of paint on the Ocarina of Time would be so cool. I know that people have gone crazy about the newer Legend of Zeldas. I'll be honest with you. They're not my favorite games. I like the old school kind of puzzle vibe with Legend of Zelda and the how those like initial games played. Majora's Mask as well. It's such a cool concept. It was really like the first time constraint game I played where you have to do these things in a certain time frame. So I think that would be really cool just to give one of those old games some love, because I don't think we've ever seen a Legend of Zelda remaster either. So I
think there's been remasters, just not remakes. You know what I mean? Like that full. I think what you're wanting is more of a remake. And I don't want to do this to you because I love you, but Legend of Zelda is not an RPG. That's more of an action adventure game. So I need a new answer. I need you to redo everything and try.
There's no way. No, you'd call Legend of Zelda a role playing game.
I would go ahead and Google it. I'm telling you. But I still love your answer, and I would love to see that too. Get it modernized, and like if they did something like Reimagined did, where it's like full. Yeah, see, that's from the Ranker. Who is the Ranker? Ask our
Google.
ask our AI overlords, and they will give you the answer that you're.
They've never played Legend of Zelda. They don't know.
They played everything everywhere. Be careful, Stan. Nah, I'm just kidding. But no, I love that. And like you said, I prefer to see like a full-on remake would be excellent. But okay, you made your point. All right, I was wrong, everyone. Go ahead and crush me. I would just consider it more action, but that's fine. It's fine.
You can't draw those final lines, brother.
I will do what
you have one that's probably so fucking out there that you're like, this is what an RPG is.
I will choose what an RPG is.
Tell us. Go into it. You go into it now. I want to hear your. I want to hear your.
No,
thoughts.
Dave, go ahead and Dave. Which game are you thinking? I'm sorry, Dave, because here's the reality of it. My answer isn't a traditional RPG as this question is how I structured it to be, because I was kind of thinking more turn-based, but
you did Harvest Moon 64, didn't you?
I did choose Harvest Moon 64. I'll just go at this point. I'm sorry, Dave. I'll just jump in.
You can jump in.
Which we've been waiting for, and we were promised a long time ago, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Give me the remake. Please. Like, just, and I again, don't try to overdo it. Don't try to make it, keep that same magic that made it so special, but just clean it up. Yet maybe modernize the combat a little bit, you know what I mean? So it's not so old school, like, you know what I mean? But don't change that story. Yeah, maybe I don't mind if you add like some extra world with some extra quest lines, but like keep that magic in there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, it's hard to say going to spoilers. The game is how many years old at this point, but just one of those moments, one of my favorite moments in gaming. And you know which one I'm talking about. It's just, we'll just call it remove the mask. And you're like, what? Like, you gotta have those kind of moments, man. So mine would always and I got so excited when I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3, where they did that Sony State of Play, one of these State of Plays, or it was at the Game Awards, either one, I can't remember. But at the end of it, not at the end of it, at one point they showed Darth Revan in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, and then here we are. But apparently, from what I'm reading, Saber Interactive's working on it. So, and then they've been swinging and doing some great stuff. They're working on the John Wick game, working on Space Marine 3. Man, these guys are everywhere right now. But I'm hoping they get that out to us soon. But
that's a great choice, dude. I mean, you wouldn't classify that as an RPG though.
That is more. What I was kind of gearing this question towards, honestly, is kind of like more of that JRPG style, like a like a Pokemon, or kids' first one, or a Final Fantasy, or something. Sorry, my brain went like Wild Arms, anything along those lines.
I got you.
Those older school ones, but I like it. I like this question better the way we all just approached it. We kind of just did it our own way. But I was trying to see if you guys would do some research and look at some JRPGs, and I was going to test your knowledge, see if you just gave me a generic answer. But you came with real ones, and I'm proud of you. Dave, which one's on your radar? You say Gears of War, I'm going to laugh so hard.
No, I didn't. I didn't look. I didn't check out any of the JRPGs from that era. But what I was thinking about, just with the remasters in general, or I guess the remakes, like Nintendo doesn't really do that much. Thinking about it now, like there's no, even Super Mario 64 would be a cool, like, at this point now, obviously those games, sometimes people are like, no, leave the originals alone, and it's like, well, that is, they're gonna be there forever in history. Like, it would be kind of cool to see a new take on Super Mario 64, where you're going through the different, like, how cool they could make it now with a modern engine. But I guess they do remake the Pokemon games. That's always something Nintendo has been doing for a while now. But like, no Marios, no Zeldas, no Donkey Kongs, like nothing none of their like main titles I could think of. I don't know if that holds true with you guys too, but it
I would
is.
like they did just recently they did a remake of Mario RPG, which was a shocker to everyone. And that's kind of where they were like the first ones to do what Expedition 33 did, that real-time turn-based combat where it's interactive and like you can like jump and like do double attacks and stuff like that, basically button timed attacks with
Yeah.
the turn-based element. So, but to your point, that was, few and far between when those things happen.
Yeah. Yeah, but
But
definitely, I mean, not a 40-hour experience I could think of, but Banjo-Kazooie games are right up there. Like for me, that was, and I don't know, that might be action adventure as well, but to
we've
me, it
broken
was,
all the rules. I like that one, Banjo.
to me, I mean, there's so many of these Nintendo titles that would have been that would be really cool to see redone at this point, because it is like the originals are always going to be there in history, but you know, have they produced anything that great lately? Like just remake the old stuff. That's what Xbox is doing, and PlayStation has done some now as well.
Well, then Xbox right now, if I believe, they have the IP of Banjo Kazooie, so everyone's been waiting on them to remake it or do something with it, and
Yeah, they're all on Game Pass.
so it'd be awesome. I mean, I think that's one thing besides like Master Chief and stuff like that. Like having a more kid friendly mascot is something that they never really had. And Banjo, even though he's existed before, would be a cool thing to get like kids onto like platformers and stuff like that. And again, like us that grew up with it would love to go back. So you got into two birds, one stone. But
Mhm.
but I wanted to do that question, boys, for two reasons. One, just curious, and what everyone will see as we're going through this episode is basically the main theme of this episode is remakes. There's some newer games in here, but remakes, remasters. You two are both playing one. The only newer game that's in here, and that's what we're going to jump into. What we've been playing, Dave. I would like, I know you wrapped up RE5, but also Reanimal was also a brand new game from the Little Nightmare devs that you have jumped into recently. So if man, I'm
Mhm.
going to hand it off to you and let us know your journey through horror, because it seems like it's been nothing but a horror month for you so far.
Yeah, it's horror when Nick wakes up in the morning and looks in the mirror.
Fuck you.
we gotta break things up every now and then, you know. I want to talk to you guys about the games I've been playing, but I think it's good to throw some shots every now and then.
Well, he needs it too. Look at him with his arcade machine behind
Keep
him,
the
all
boys on
smug.
their
I see
toes.
him.
That's right.
He ditched
Yeah,
us last week too, so we're feeling a certain kind of way. That's what actually the real theme of this podcast is to get you.
I just play that arcade machine with nothing but a tank top on.
That's all you're gonna do the whole episode.
yeah. So I guess is that how it is defined? I don't want to get it wrong for all these diehard fans. They're gonna call me a Resident Evil tourist by the end of it, but it's technically called the Resident Evil 2 remake, right?
Yes.
Because it's totally different. It's not just a remaster, of course. And I wanted to jump into this one for many reasons because it's
Wait, before you jump into that RE2 remake, I want you to save that because Nick has been in it too. But if you could
okay.
hit first, I would like if you could just hit like Reanimal first. And then,
Oh.
because I know, and I would like you to tell everyone why you stopped playing RE5 because it is pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, I'll go to RE5 first. We wanted to jump into that one because my wife likes playing. I mean, I don't think she's really liked the last couple of games, to be honest. It's more of me forcing her. I needed someone to play RE5 co-op with, and we were working through it, but it's such an old game. The reason we picked it is because everyone was saying online that it's like the best. It has the best co-op features, and I really did see that. Like it's fun. Like you can kind of have almost a shared inventory where you're swapping weapons and ammo, giving each other like I, be able to give her shotgun ammo if she was carrying that, and I'd be carrying the sniper, and it like the co-op features work really well, and it brought me back to that 360 era where there was like Army of Two, and of course the first couple Gears of War where it was 2 players, and um games were all about the couch co-op and stuff back then, and but we were playing. I don't think the couch co-op even works for that game anymore, but we were playing just like on separate Xboxes, and some shit was going on. Like it may be something that we're at the same house on the same internet, but other games we don't have any issue. But this game would just disconnect us at the worst times, and I swear it was because it was, bouncing back like the Series X all the way back to a 360 game. And then, then it's, I think that it was remake or remastered for like an Xbox One version a little bit later, but it was still just, it did not have the best functionality. And so now, like, I just have a rule where I'm not going to go back. At this point, we cannot go back to anything that was on the 360 because you can't trust it. So I'll wait. And so what happened to us? We got disconnected twice throughout. There's 6 chapters, and I think it was like once in chapter 2, once in chapter 4, and it's like a bad disconnection. Like you're working on this mission for 30 minutes, and then boom, it's like, do you want to go back? And we were enjoying the game enough to where like the first 2 times it happened, we're like, let's go to bed. But next time we play, we'll just redo it because now we know how to do it. So we figured we could just do it faster than the 30 minutes or whatever. It's your second time playing basically. But then we're on the final mission in chapter 6, the final boss. Like, it's this guy's taking forever to kill. We know it's the end. I won't give any spoilers if people haven't played it, but and then boom, disconnected. And we were just like, let's play something else. Like we literally gave up, and I will go back. I know there was talk of a Resident Evil 5 remake coming up, or would be next in the pipeline. But I know there's a little controversy about that game as well, being the racial factor of, here's this guy, Chris Redfield, this, big strong white man is being sent into Africa, and all the enemies are, like portrayed as like African tribes and things like that. Some of it, and it's like, I know there's people talking on the internet that like they couldn't remake a game like that in this day and age, and I don't know. Like, I know people have mixed feelings about it. I wasn't thinking about any of that while I was playing it. These were things I read after the fact when I was, because I've been lately, what I've been doing with every game I play, like for a while, when we've talked about this before, the mental health of gaming, where you get sucked into like, what's the meta build for this multiplayer game I'm playing, or like, what's the first mission I should do in Skyrim? I'm just throwing an example. Like, you start to like try to cheat the system, but all these games I've been playing, I go in with nothing. So like we went into Resident Evil 5 blind, and I think that's what made it like 10 times more fun, because I didn't know anything. But then after, we were done with it, I'm reading all these things about it, about the controversy of the, just the location of the game and who the enemies are. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know why they need to make it about that. I wasn't thinking about that while I played it. The good or bad side of it. I was just taking the game for face value, and if they do remake it, it's a fun game. Like the co-op mechanics are there. Like I said, the Army of Two or like Gears of War 1, where it's just like you and your buddy on the couch. That was that era, and we've really gotten away from couch co-op. So I don't know. We'll see. But that let us down.
Do you plan on finishing it as it is now, or are you gonna wait for the remake if the remake does come?
He's done.
No.
Dude, I don't know. Definitely less than 10 hours of gaming a week, probably. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see. Like a couple of those nights on Overwatch, we stayed up a little late, but it's what I'm getting at is such minimal time to game. Like I just have this motto now where it's like I can't waste time. Like I really wanted to get into Resident Evil. And 5 was a great point to bring, but I'm like, I got everything out of it. I'm like, I don't need to go back and beat this boss. Like
Yeah.
from and that's why I know we're gonna get into 2 in a second, but from just wanting to get ready for Requiem, I was like, finishing 5 does nothing for me. Like it's time to move on. And so that's what I did. But then I don't know. Any other questions about RE5? You guys said you would play the remaster if it came out. You guys could play together, but one of you has to be the girl.
That would be we'd have to make the choice. I wouldn't mind playing. She would seem like a really cool character too. So I would let Nick play Chris Redfield, so he'd feel special, and I'll be player 2.
It is player 2 is nice if you want to use the sniper. It's that old it reminded me of the Grand Theft Auto 4 sniper. Like it like feels like it takes forever to take it out, and you're like, but it would actually crack people. Like the zombie, like I got a lot of collateral shots on zombies with the sniper, and if you play player 2 with Shiva, Chris Redfield just tosses her up onto the rooftop, so you get in all these sniping positions. So that's a little tip. Hopefully you guys will remember this for life. But Chris Redfield needs to have the shotgun, and Shiva, I don't remember her last name, needs to have the sniper.
Well, with the sniper now, Nick's gonna want to play that one because he's always nasty with the sniper.
I'd definitely play it. I'd honestly.
I think you guys are fighting over who's gonna be the girl.
Right? You should have said the sniper. Now we're both like, oh.
Yeah, it's like honestly, I talked to Stan a little bit on the phone today about this. Like the funny thing about us doing all this is like I would have never probably picked up Requiem. I would have never picked up 2, which I'm playing now, and I would have never played 5. But hearing about it and the disconnection things are worrying. But if they remake it and it's like on Series X or on a new next gen console, yeah, I'll give it a try because, dude, 2's changed my thoughts. Not to get too far into it, but like, I talked a little bit about Village leaving a bad taste in my mouth, and it's a shame that was one of the first ones I picked up, just never get into a series because not knowing what I know now and not like talking about these games and hearing about Requiem coming up and like deciding to get prepped for it, I would have never gave the series a second chance just off of an offshoot bad game, which a lot of games had. I mean, I got a Fallout, I'm a big Fallout fan. Fallout 4 is one of the worst ones. And, I think I read a comment from someone that said, Fallout 4 was their first game they played and they almost didn't want to try out New Vegas or 3. And you imagine if you would like a newer gamer coming in and they play 4 and they're like, man, this series sucks, and they don't play anything else. I mean, that's kind of what happened to me with Resident Evil, so I'm open to try any of them.
Well, that's why it's or
go ahead. No, go ahead, Dave.
All I was gonna say, it is interesting too to really dive into these the critic scores. For much of my life I was like, who cares what the critics say? Like, I want to try it for myself. But it is useful for jumping into a new series because you may disagree with what the game is scored, but if you're going to jump into something new, it's almost like, all right, I'll start now with Resident Evil 2 Remake. That's the highest rated on Metacritic and OpenCritic and stuff, and so it's like now I know what the series could be, and then maybe I'll work my way back and play some of the other highly rated titles. But I want to see, like, show me the best. Like, if you're gonna introduce someone to Halo, it's like you're gonna sit them down and show them Halo 3. Like, this is why I want you to like this series, So
Yeah.
it is interesting. You jumped into Village, and I know Village is not as highly rated, but I don't know what it's scored or anything like that.
So that makes me wonder, Nick, when you do jump in the Requiem, I wonder how much the like Grace's sections are gonna resonate with you comparatively to Leon's. You know what I mean? So that'll be kind of an interesting conversation once we get there. And going to
I-
your point with the games that like I remember when one of my friends jumped into Dragon Age 2 was his first one and not knowing and like I told him I was like, dude, it's just like Knights of the Old Republic, this, that, and the other. But then as we know, 2 is like all action oriented
Yeah.
and totally different type of game. And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, which one did you pick up? He's like, well, I picked up Dragon Age 2. I was like, well, yeah, that's not what I told you to get. You know what I mean? So it's funny.
Yeah.
Then he was like, the series is terrible, this, that, and the other. So yeah, it's funny how like a jump in at a different point in the series can hurt it for you. But I
Mhm.
got to push back on one thing. Like Fallout 4, I don't get why it has so much hate, man. I liked the voice protagonist. I mean, the story is what it is, you know what I mean? But I thought it was I don't know. I just thought it was a pretty good game. And I enjoyed the factions to a certain extent. I liked the Minutemen. I thought they were cool, being like the heroes of the wasteland and stuff. But we can't get into the Fallout conversation again. It always
Well,
seems to turn its head in there, but
I'll speak on it a little bit, just real quick. My thoughts on it are the series when it dropped with the newer games. Fallout 3 was kind of like a wow, this is what this franchise could be if you're a big fan of like a first person shooter. And it was really fun, a really great story, and it was one of my favorites. And then you have from Obsidian New Vegas, which is just fantastic as well. When you go to 4, they changed, I think, a little bit of what made like Fallout 3 kind of hinted at this, like making things really cool. Fallout New Vegas really went with it with like, you remember you had those like, it was like the perks, but you also had like the, I'm trying to think of what they were called again because I haven't played New Vegas. I almost picked up New Vegas before Resident Evil 2 again, but it was kind of like you would almost take a little bit of a debuff, but get also a perk. And it would also open different encounters in the world. Like I remember one of them had to do with the aliens, and like it was like Strange World, and you would see like aliens or different things that popped up throughout the world, and that was like a perk that you could pick where like you might have encounters that will be tough, but you can get better equipment. Like they just did such a good job, I think, of like really embedding you in the Mojave and in DC, I thought, to where when you go to Fallout 4, it just kind of felt like, to me, like you said, I like the factions, but it just, the other two games spoke so much more to me for some reason. I think Fallout 4, they also changed the whole power armor system, which became like the standard. I think that was a big change for a lot of characters. Before, it was just like armor sets you put on. Then you had to go the fusion core route, which I didn't mind that, but I just think that they made a lot of different changes, and to me, I like it. But if I was to show you my Xbox gameplay history of how many hours I've invested in 3 and in New Vegas compared to 4, it's significantly different. Both games, each one is probably double what I've put in 4. And it may be just a nostalgia thing, or those being like the first times I jumped in the games and really enjoyed them. But I think there's just the DLCs didn't really speak to me in 4.
did
The
you see? I don't want to keep pulling out these strings because it will be on another Fallout discussion. But I do want to ask. I see Dave going. Here it goes with these Fallout kids. Did you play Far Harbor?
They should just talk about whatever, wherever the ball rolls.
Yeah, I did play Far Harbor, and I liked it, but it was like I don't know, man. Like that game, I just couldn't like, one, the base building I hate to say it, dude.
Okay, I will say this right now. I hate the base building. Not my thing. Never been my thing. I don't enjoy it. So I agree with you there.
Right, and like the whole thing with the Minutemen, like I remember every time I got a base building mission, I was just like, let me build the generator so I can move on with my day. Right? Like I don't need to build a base in a game, especially like I enjoyed it. I talked about in 76 because then other people can come and shop and check it out and give you like a like and stuff. Cool. But if I'm playing a solo game like Fallout, like I'm not gonna build and I did attempt it, but it's like, why? Like, give me a player-owned house where I can store my shit that I can customize to a degree.
More
I'm
like
really happy
Skyrim.
with that. Yeah, like Skyrim does it really well. I mean, even Fallout 3, you can get the House of Megaton, or you could do the 10-penny tower, depending on what you go. There's a couple different options. New Vegas.
Yeah. Or even like GTA, you buy
Yeah, you get the
your place with your
apartments.
garage. Like it is nice to just get something. I don't want to. If you want to make something, like there's Minecraft, there's totally
Yeah,
games designed around it.
that
But
do it so much better. And I felt like for Fallout 4 they tried to like really integrate that into it, and especially with some missions, and I felt like it was just kind of like it was a little
Well,
out
that's
of
what my fear
place.
is with Elder Scrolls. I feel like they're definitely gonna have like that build your town thing and all that
Right, I
stuff
don't want to
that no
do
one
that in that
wants.
game.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I agree, and that's where I think our discussion always turns to like Bethesda. We remember isn't the Bethesda of now. You know what I mean? We're just hoping that they prove us wrong soon, but as of right now, it doesn't seem that way. You know what I mean? Like looking at Fallout 76, like I found it comical that within 24 hours they released the NCR power armor. You know what I mean? Like it just proves to me you don't really care about us. You just want and again
Yeah,
at a certain point you need to make a profit. I'm not silly, but like care about your fan base enough, when it comes to those things. Like release the New Vegas remaster or remake, or whatever you want to call it, with an additional if you like Oblivion did, like when you get the excuse me, the enhanced edition, add that armor into it. That you know what I mean, that makes it more justifiable. But again,
and last thing I'll say,
Fallout
which kind of
20,000.
bites me in the ass
Hey,
on both of them, on Fallout 4 and Skyrim, which makes them not as special to me as Oblivion and Fallout 3 and New Vegas, is the damn Creation Club. Like, if you want to allow modders, and you can go like Skyrim does it well when you go to that portion. Like, if you want to download mods from creators and put that in the game, awesome. But like when you're kind of safeguarding, like they did in Fallout 4, the Chinese stealth armor, the only way you could get it was Creation Club. So you had to pay money for it. Like that shit leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Like this is a staple of these games. At least I felt from Operation Anchorage. Like if you want to play a stealth character, this is the best armor you can get for it.
yeah,
And it's like, to not include that in the base game behind a really cool mission, and instead it's a creation club where like it's just marked on a random NPC in a super mutant base or something, and you go and kill them and get the stealth armor. It just kind of makes it's like you've just it's just a money grab. Like that is what it feels like. And that's the type of stuff that I think the new Bethesda games have done, and I think it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, man. I don't want to feel like I have to pay for things that I really liked from the other games.
no.
And they did the same thing with the damn in Skyrim with the damn Knights of the Nine armor. In the
Yeah, it's great.
Creation
Love
Club
that
armor,
for me.
you'd pay for it, and it was on some bandit in a shit cave. And you just walk up, and the guy's map markered, and you go and you beat his ass, and now you have the Knights of the Nine armor. And I'm like, really? We're not gonna make a
It
quest
should have
about
been
this?
just like when the Ebony Warrior, remember him when he comes and brings you
Yeah,
up and you have a battle on the mountaintop and you get his armor. That's how it should have been. But
yeah,
no, and
exactly. Make it cool at least. If you're gonna rob me,
well, I think we really need to find the time to do just a full Bethesda video, because it has to happen. Because I laugh even when we did Nick and Dave Save the World, it came up. You know what I mean? It's always right there
It's
with
our
us.
roots.
But they're never. These studios will never be the same. It's it sucks, but we have to accept it because you think all the greats have fallen. Like eventually Bungie. It's not the same people. Like the people that are out boots on the ground writing the code for Halo 2, Halo 3. It's like they moved on and or get promoted, or like all these teams, it's like they have their golden. It's like, think of it like sports. They have all these key players. At one moment they win the Super Bowl, the next year they don't even make the playoffs because people have left and new people come in. So it's like with these studios, it's like we're rooting for them, we hope for the best, but it's like, then we just see other studios have their moment, like at peak times. Like right now, as we saw from the state of play, like Capcom is one of them. Konami is, having more key highlight. Like they must, got some good people in there for these couple of years, and it's like I don't know. Thinking of these game studios, like like the NFL, like that, like some
Well, then, like, to your
That's a
point, like
great
years will be
Capcom and
good. Or sorry,
Capcom
go
and
ahead.
Konami having kind of a rebirth, like you
Yeah.
said, like they had like a great team, people left, bad decisions were made, then it seems like they corrected course. So it's like it's almost like some don't. We see like
Yeah.
BioWare kind of didn't make the game. Like, Veilguard wasn't what I wanted out of the new Dragon Quest. I did it again. Dragon Age. I gotta stop playing these games and talk about these games so close with the similar names. But then you look at like you just said, Capcom, Konami.
Mhm.
They're just having this massive resurgence. Like Capcom was just throwing left hook after left hook during that
Yes.
state of play. You know what I mean? And when you guys are right now in basking in their new glory, basically, of what they can do and what they're doing, and seems like they have the finger on the pulse of their fans, and it's what we want from the studios that we still love. But it's the same thing. We look at the Patriots going to the Super Bowl. They had their massive light in their time in the sun, and now they're back and maybe can possibly do more runs. But I'm a Steelers fan, and I want that to happen for me, and it's not happening for me, so it makes me sad. So I think that's a great analogy, and kind of putting them up
It's like how
one to
we
one.
root for Halo.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
It's a
being a
great
Steelers
point.
fan is being a Halo, or just like the Bears as well.
It's a great point because I look at like the Oblivions and the Fallout 3s, and Bethesda will never be the same Bethesda that it was when it made those games.
But they
Or-
could be a good, they could be
Yeah,
good. They could be great again. Just
I
in a
think it's
different
just hard as
era.
the gamer to see games that you really, really like and like wanting the same thing, but just like having the kind of understanding that it's going to be different to a degree because like you said, you don't have the same crew, you don't have the same team, you don't have the same developers. Everybody's got a little bit of different ideas, and maybe it is the times of, if you want to get into those games again, look for the remakes, look for the remasters. But like I said, man, I mean, Capcom has never been one of the biggest developers that I've looked forward to, but from everything I've seen so far, they're at the top of my list of what I'm looking forward to playing.
Well, and like newer studios like Saber, you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
have my interest more than like when I think if I remember correctly, Dave, when you chose Mio during the draft, it was because the Saber was associated with it, and you were like, "Hey, isn't these the same guys that did Space Marine or associated with Space Marine?"
Yeah.
I think it was Saber, right? Or was the anyways?
Yeah. I think
But
it was. I think that's who developed Mio. Or was
But
that a
it's like
different
that kind
company?
of stuff. And then like you see like what they have coming up, like I alluded to it earlier in the show, but like John Wick, Space Marine 3, the KOTOR remake, like those are 3 games I cannot wait to get hands on. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it's strange, like just seeing, like you stated, like it's hard to see Halo where it is. I'm really hoping, even though I did pick it, like I truly do hope Marathon really blows us blows us out of the water and gives Bungie that resurgence time and starts letting them build up to what they were before. Because there was a time where you could not tell me that you couldn't find a better group of group of guys and girls to make a freaking shooter better than the Bungie team. You know what I mean? Like everything just felt good. And Destiny, Destiny 2 too, like they had their huge I like to call it the Avengers Endgame moment with the final shape. And now that's why you kind of see it dying off. But everything I see with Marathon, even the thing they released today, just looks good. And I'm really excited about it. Maybe this is their, their chance to really establish who they are again. But before we keep going in on this, boys, Dave, I do want to hear about Reanimal. If I believe correctly, Nick, if you don't mind pulling this up, I think it's sitting at an 81 on OpenCritic.
Yeah.
I don't know how much
Go ahead
time
and
you've put
check.
into it because I know RE2 is taking a lot of your time now, Dave. But with the time you've had with Reanimal, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I think so. I may get this wrong, but from what I could gather, it seems like it's 3 chapters, and I think we have finished the first. So probably about a third of the way through the game. And yeah, it was 81 OpenCritic. And yeah, I'm new to this style of game. I know it was the Little Nightmares games have been pretty popular in the past. So it's like we saw with Mio dropping in at the end of January. It was really compared to Hollow Knight because that's kind of what people have seen as like that's the standard or that's the benchmark of the Metroidvania. So I saw just people basing off Little Nightmares and then immediately comparing to this game, and just saying, it does not meet the bar. And so for me, it's as I haven't played any of those, I'm just taking it for like face value. And so we've been playing on split screen co-op because this one lady that I do work for, she was just getting rid of a TV. It was like it's I think it's I'd have to check, but I think it's like a 65-inch. She was just getting rid of, and we were like, she's like, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so."
Yeah.
So we threw it up in the bedroom, and that's what and that was like right before Reanimal came out. So we're like, "Oh, we should try the new game now that." We've never gamed from our bed before. We just had a smaller TV in there to maybe watch a show before bed. But now we're like, oh, let's sit back and relax. We had some popcorn and tried Reanimal, and so like having that whole experience made it more fun for sure. If you were just gonna hop on and play by yourself, I don't recommend. But the experience of playing it with somebody right there in person, and it's like all we're in pitch black room, and it's later at night, and so everything is a little bit more scary, and the game is creepy. There's a lot of like sadness involved with it too. Like it's just kind of like a darker, depressing game. At one point it's like you're in the world, but you're small, a little bit smaller than everything. You're like a really little kid, basically. So, like very small. And at one point, you're like going through this slaughterhouse. Like all these pigs are lined up, and there's like this big nasty ghoul thing that's eating them. And I don't want I don't want to give any more like spoilers away. It's just a game you have to experience, but it's like it's a little bit stress inducing at times because you're getting chased or you're like hiding, and then all of a sudden a giant hand will like bust through the glass and grab one of the other kids that's in your like little party. That's the theme of the game, basically. You're a brother and sister, and you have all these like 3 or 4 other friends. I don't know. I haven't got through it all, but they're all missing, and you're trying to find them. But it's like, um, it's cool for what it is. It's a $40 game. The way I described it to you guys, I think in the group chat, was just like it's a long horror movie. So like if you were to just buy a movie that's a couple hours and like it's not like a super hard game. There's a lot of puzzles and things where you kind of have to work together. It has that co-op element to it where you're always on the same screen and you have to like boost each other up, certain jumps, or like someone has to go push a button while the other one runs through the door. A lot of those elements. So it's great to play with a friend or, just somebody if you can play on the same screen. I just don't think it would be as fun like online or definitely not by yourself playing with like an AI teammate. Or you could teach your dog how to play.
Yeah, I was
He's
getting him. He was trying to
in the
do it
frame.
quietly, not to distract you, but he was
But
like getting into the wires back here.
Is
this is
that
one.
what happens if you play solo? Is it just an AI counterpart that like you go and
Yeah, I
hit the
think you can.
button, it'll run through the door, or vice versa?
Yeah, if you were to play solo, I think it would be just like that. Like maybe you can give them orders, like, "Hey, go push that button so I could run through the door," But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a co-op game by design. So like if you were to play by yourself, you have that AI. Like the whole game is like two people
Yeah.
operating. One person's driving the boat, the other person's holding a lantern. So that's like there's just these creepy parts. It's really dark. Like we had to like turn the brightness up on our TV just a little bit while we were playing because it's a lot of like flashlights. Um, you're going through the water, like this open water, and all you have is a lantern kind of guiding your way. And um, but it's really interesting. I want to finish it. Like this is one where obviously there's no disconnection issues and stuff, but it's like I'd have to look online, but from what I gathered, it's a relatively shorter game. So I don't know maybe 10, 15 hours at most. So to me, that's cool. Like it's a little fun thing, play with the wife. It's like if we were to watch 4 scary movies back to back, like 4 different nights or something like that. Like it's fun. I don't think we'll be talking about it, at the end when we talk about our game of the years and things like that. But I'm glad it was made. I'm glad somebody designed it. It's cool. But you know,
So I got 2 questions for you. Well, a comment first when it comes to the brightness. Have you I'm the same way when it comes to when games are too dark. I just go ahead and crank the brightness all the way up because I can't do it, man. I get
well,
nothing frustrates me more than not being able to see in a game. And
Requiem looks like it's gonna have some of that dark, like, and we're seeing it right now with Resident Evil 2. There's a lot of flashlight moments that it does.
Yeah.
It's like I like it. It feels immersive, but it's like you almost start to get frustrated a little bit. You're like, if only I could see. But I guess that's the point.
yeah, when I was playing Oblivion, there's a scene. One of these things you got to do when you get back to Bethesda.
Don't you do
You
it?
get into the water and you can't see anything because it's so
Yeah.
dark. It's like in a
Super-
deep cave. And you're trying to
Real
find an
quick about
opening.
Bethesda.
It's real fast. Doesn't real quick about it. But it's the same thing, dude. I was getting so frustrated because you can't see and you can't use your obviously can't use your torch underwater.
Yeah.
So dude, I put the brightness all the way up, found that
Were
thing.
you
in a
looking for the Eye
split
of
second.
Nocturnal?
Yes. And it's exactly what I was looking for. And that's hilarious. But also, I don't know if you guys know the Burnt Peanut. He was playing Arc Raiders, and they have these things called night raids. And he put his like settings on and showed everyone, and it was like he was playing a normal raid. So like people just cheating the system when it comes to those dark settings.
It's
And then my
smart though.
it is smart, especially like I mean, like you said, like some games like RE2 and probably Requiem it's part of the immersion of it. But
Yeah.
like
Arc Raiders, I'd do the same shit if I knew how to do it.
yeah, same here. I was like, that's brilliant, dude. You can't see
Yeah,
anything. You're trying
not
to rat
cheating.
in, rat out.
If it's just like in-game settings and then like your monitor settings, like it's not cheating.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he did it, really feel like, because I'm like, I wonder how many guys are doing that and they're sniping me from halfway across the map. But but I might have not heard this when I was trying to get Crispy away from all the wires. But is there any combat in the game, or is it more of just puzzle solving and stealth and stuff?
Yeah, there's minor combat. So it's a lot of like picking up weird objects off the floor. Like the last part I remember playing, I was wielding a crowbar for quite a while. and it's simple mechanics. Like it's it's not fully top down, but it's kind of like I don't know what you'd call it, 45 like you're looking at these players, these kids from above, but kind of also at an angle. And then sometimes when you go in like a room, it'll be more of like a look 2D almost.
Yeah.
For the camera, that's just for the camera angle. So for the combat, it's very simple. Like you're just tapping X, swinging the weapon to like knock things back. Like this won't give anything away, but there's one scene where you're like in this moving vehicle and there's a guy like trying to get you and your sister out of the vehicle, and you just have to keep smacking his ass with the crowbar and then he finally flings back. But it's like you're weak. You don't have any like power. The main part of the game is like you're sneaking around, you're hiding, you're sticking to the shadows because the enemies, it's like one hit, but like that's kind of the fear element. It's like they're stomping and they're coming at you, and if they grab a hold of you, like you're dead. Like you have to restart that checkpoint. So it's like there's some elements where you,
Fans like fuck that.
Yeah, no way, man. Sounds like horrifying.
dude, it's like that. It's like you want that adrenaline rush a little bit, because then you also get the dopamine of like, oh, like it's just a game, I'm safe. Like, but you induce that fear element when you get immersed. You have the volume turned up, you have the lights off. So yeah, it's not one of those games you just download and play in the middle of the day by yourself. Like you want to, it's the same thing if you were gonna watch the next big scary movie, that's Paranormal Activity. It's like you set the room up right, you get you get the full experience out of it. So yeah, it's cool. I'd tell anyone to check it out definitely if you have someone to play with.
Nice.
But don't bother if you're by yourself. It might not be as good. Well, I shouldn't say that. You could enjoy it, but
I'll just be screaming. But while we're still on the horror kick, you two, both of you guys have both been playing Resident Evil 2 Remake. And with Requiem a week away, I would love to hear how you guys are feeling about it, your first impressions of jumping into a classic and considered one of the goats of remakes. And yeah, tell me how you're feeling. I would love for you to walk me through the gameplay because I have not jumped into this remake yet. So, like, any way you two want to broach it, please go ahead.
Nick, you start. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So it's so funny, and I kind of alluded to it, but like I said, I would not have picked this up. So we got to talking about it, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and grab it. And it was $10 on the store and extremely highly rated.
Remake?
Yeah, it's $10. And it's extremely highly rated. So you know what? I knew Dave was playing it at the time because he hit us up. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna get it. Dude, I got it, and just kind of the storytelling element. One, it feels like an older game, not in a bad way. But like as it's showing these scenes, I'm like excited. I'm like, okay, this is like, it just felt like I already knew that this game was a well-polished thing, and I've heard so many good things about it. So I kind of went into it with high expectations. But I have not played Resident Evil 2 before the remake, so I cannot do a true comparison. But what I can say is, I mean, the graphics and everything looks really, really good. So I don't know how it looked before. I can imagine when it dropped, definitely looked probably, you played it now, you'd be like, it'd probably be kind of tough to play. But as a new person coming into it, looks fantastic. The cutscenes look great. The transitions look great. And getting into the gameplay, it's so different from what I'm used to playing, right? And Dave kind of touched on this, but it's slower moving. You got the flashlight. It's really dark. I did the same thing. I got it yesterday or the day before, and I downloaded it. I cut all the lights off in the living room, and I just started playing it. And you come around, and it is truly like it's so immersive. Like it wants you to know. Okay, so wow, it came out in 1998.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's
Oh my gosh, dude! It is. I couldn't even imagine. It looks so good. It almost looks like a game that could have dropped. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. It comes out in 2019. Looks like it could have dropped yesterday. Like it looks good.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It definitely holds up. Being what quick 7 years old now. This remake
yeah,
is. It's
it's
it feels good. Like I mean, but also I'm coming off Resident Evil 5, so um, this my whole baseline right now is all messed up. Just wait till I jump into Requiem now, a 2026 title. But no, it does it 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 still feels great. Like it feels like a modern game for sure.
yeah, 100%. And I've done, I'm still in and I don't know how long the game is or anything. I'm still in the very beginning. I'm in the police station. So I've made it to the police station, and I've done, maybe I'd say, if I had to guess, there's a big puzzle in the police station of what you're trying to solve. And you get like little tidbits of information as you go through it. But, the gameplay is really fun. And I was actually hitting Dave up about this. You have to play extremely smart in this game, which I really appreciate, right? Like every time I come across a box of ammo, I'm like, yes, like thank God. Or, I got the combat knife in the police station. And I was like, oh, this will be huge. But it's not as much of a benefit as you think it's going to be. Like, I got into a scrap, and, you get 12 rounds of your handgun ammo, and some of these zombies, like, dude, you just have to run past them. So it's almost like a learning experience for me, where it's like, I'm used to so many games where it's like, just kill all the enemies you come across. But in this game, you really got to pick and choose who you take down. Like you got to take them down if you're in a pinch. And if you don't, you're going to set yourself up for failure, because one, the zombies will get back up after a certain amount of time. And two, if you counterattack with the combat knife and you don't have enough ammo to kill the zombie, your knife's gone and you might need it for a next section. So it's just been so much fun. It's like, the jump scares are really cool. The way the graphics look, it's just fun to play. And I love this type of game where it has all these little puzzles in it. Like it's stress inducing because you go through different areas too. And I feel like, I want to like search everything and find all the little bits to get what I need for my puzzle. But it's like, shit, I got 3 rounds of ammunition. How am I going to get through this next area? So it's been really fun, dude. I cannot wait to hop back in, and I'll be honest with you. So you had a great like thought earlier in when you said, I've played Village, and now here I've played 2, which really is kind of what Requiem's slated to be, right? It's supposed to be kind of this first person horror like Village was. And the third action combat that Resident Evil 2, as of right now, feels like what it is. It's a lot of third
So
person.
is that,
Well,
not
and
to cut you off,
4,
is that
I
the
think, is
perspective
known.
of it? Is it over the shoulder third person?
Yeah, it's over the shoulder third person. And I imagine you play as I think her name's Claire. Is that her name? The person you meet, Claire Ashburn, I think her name is. So I think you play as her at some point in 2, just from how the intro was. I don't know. I imagine that would be third person as well. But I love third person in this game. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Requiem, I think if they do it right though, and when you play Requiem, if it's the first person is kind of like more of like a horror. Yeah, I mean, look at that compared to the 1998 little pictures we saw. That was me yesterday finding green herbs to stay alive. But like,
okay, there we go. Okay,
if they
yeah,
do
because
it
now the original one was, just so you guys have you can pull up original Resident Evil 2 gameplay as well, but it was like fixed cameras in each room you went in. So the camera didn't change. You would move along in that room. Remember how older games were like that?
Oh, yeah, no. So this is just a complete update to it then. That guy also put that
look at this
key in
going
his
around with a
stash.
flashlight.
He put that key in his stash. I discarded it, so I hope I don't need it later in the game. But
yeah, you always need the keys.
Well, that key,
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like that key only opened the very first door I needed it for.
It's such a well done game, dude.
I'm gonna have
I've been
to
going
fucking
around.
uninstall it and restart. Well, I'll let Dave go ahead. I think I hit a lot of points in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, jumping in. Should I keep this playing while I'm talking?
Yeah, go ahead.
You let her play for a little bit, then switch to the original, so you guys have that perspective.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too, because I can't. That camera angle. I think I saw you play this game at some point, Stan, and I remember
Yeah, you
that
definitely
camera
watched me
angle.
watch the original for sure. Because I remember, because that one we did get in trouble for, because we didn't. I got that from my friend on the bus, on the school bus, and we were playing on the PlayStation 1, and it was terrifying, especially because those fixed cameras mess with you a lot, in your perspective and everything. So, but it looks like here it's still like methodical, slow paced, but you have,
I don't know how this guy has so much ammo.
There's
you're like, who is this guy?
Yeah, I was at 0 rounds at this point. I had to sprint past that guy on the steps.
I know that's it. It does like make you think about all the situations. Like if there's 3 zombies coming at you, sometimes I would just turn and run because I'm like, I want to save this ammo for well, you said you haven't seen Mr. X yet, but you will soon, and you're gonna be having nightmares about him.
Yeah, he is nightmare fuel for sure, man. Just
the footsteps coming down the hall. But
well, I don't know if you guys saw. There's a in the one of the Requiem trailers. They say that you see Mr. X walk by Grace in the street, like in the random street, like dressed up. There's like some kind of, who knows if he'll make his return in Requiem, but we'll see.
Oh, DCM. That's good to know that that's the code to that locker.
Yeah, that was a little.
Look at him just learning gameplay tips while we're doing the podcast.
Yeah,
you might want to cut this off. This is giving me spoilers.
That was
don't go any further. He's gonna keep going through the mission.
Oh yeah, you'll see all the codes.
DCM done.
I'm gonna use
that. But that's such a cool aspect. There's a little bit of that in Resident Evil 5, but not that much. Like most of the documents you pick up in that game don't really matter. Like it's just if you want to get more into the backstory of the game and stuff like that. But in Resident Evil 2 Remake, it's like a lot of most of the documents I picked up really mattered to the story or to some of the puzzles or to just clues to open the box, unlock a safe or a box or something like that. But I've really been enjoying it so far. I was just able to leave the police station. I know that won't give any spoilers away for Nick. That's gonna he's probably just a little bit behind me, but yeah, I'm having a blast. I wanted to jump in because this is Leon's first day on the job. People call me a Resident Evil tourist, but I'm really getting into it. And in this game, 1998, apparently he's 21 years old. His first day on the police force, and now we're going to be playing Resident Evil Requiem.
Sorry, for some reason my computer cut out.
Where people are. I don't think it's been outright stated, but people are speculating that Leon's, anywhere from 49 to like 51 years old, roughly, in Requiem. So he's had like about 30 years of just going through all this shit. I see him, the trauma of it. 30 years fighting this.
Well, I think that's what's going to be so cool of us. Like, that's why I kind of wanted to pick up to not only that you said you're playing it, but it's like two
Sorry
is
about
actually.
that, boys. I'm back. Mr. X got me.
You're good, brother. But
I just had to sprint
he-
around the
he-
hallways to get him stuck in one of the fixed camera angles, so he's stuck over there now.
he was Dave was talking about like how Leon's supposed to be much older now, and I think that's what's going to really do us justice. Of you've played this, but like us experience this young Leon seeing this shit for the first time, it's going to make us really appreciate the character arc of him now. I mean, like, oh yeah, it's like what's what makes a lot of these games fun too is like you're like, I was there and was able to experience, the police station when it first happened, and now you get to go back. Like that moment, if I was to pick up Requiem on the 27th and play through, it'd probably be like, what's the significance? But now it's like, oh, that's
Well,
pretty
now,
cool.
yeah, like I would say, even you got to see him go into the police station, so just that scene alone during the state of play
Yeah,
already has some kind of weight to you.
exactly. Like
That
when
was
they
the
did it
big
at
hype.
the end of the state of play, I was just like, what part of the game is that?
Well, you can ask Dave during the episode. I reacted immediately. I'm like, oh, dude, he's going back, and then like the theories of maybe these are flashbacks in his mind and stuff like that as it's going in and out of real time to the past for him. So we'll see
Yeah.
how that all plays out.
Yeah,
But
that's. No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was just going to say, I'm just really glad you guys have both jumped into it and getting a love for the series, especially with Requiem right around the corner. You're kind of inspiring me to get the remake right now.
Get it, dude. It's so
Dude,
much
it's
fun.
the highest rated Resident Evil game. Is that remake? I think it's like a 94 or something, maybe higher.
Yeah, I'll push on it. But what's got my time right now, boys, as Nick also has been playing something very similar. Very similar, exactly the same thing. But it's also another remake, a resurrected remake, some would say, that just got brand new content after 20 years. New class, which is Diablo II Resurrected, the Reign of the Warlock. Both Nick and I have jumped in to try out the new class. And I gotta say, I think I've gotten, and again, we cannot, and I know Nick's in the same boat as me. We can't speak to end game metas, any of that kind of stuff. I can just tell you how good it felt to jump back into Diablo 2 after I got resurrected when it first dropped. Played it for a little while, but going back and just playing that old game again and playing with this new class in a world that you're so familiar with. I'm really enjoying it. I'm running kind of like a demon summoner fire build right now, and it's just been fun, man. I don't know if I'll stick with it fully. Now I'm kind of got RE2 remake on the brain, but I gotta say it's nice. It's kind of getting that Diablo bug for me while I'm waiting for the expansion to drop. But we'll jump into Diablo 30 later and kind of get our more thoughts on that. But just that's what I've been doing. Dave, how the Warlock plays is like your weapon floats with you, so you can hold like two-handers and like a shield or a book or grimoire, I should say. And your spells are consistently chaos magic or fire magic, and then you can summon demons from hell. You can get more than one as you level it up, and it switches. And then you can also bound demons. You can bound bosses, so you can have like these omega demons that serve you with all these different abilities. I just saw like now that you know how the algorithm is. They know I'm playing Diablo 2, so now it's showing me videos of Diablo 2 Resurrected, and there's like a guy like, hey, you can get the Forge Master, and then he has this ability that's the equivalent of the best gear in the game and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool that it's obviously breaking the game wide open. Like once I got that fire spell, I think it's Ring of Fire. That's why I was playing that Johnny Cash song when we started the podcast when we were talking in earlier. But yeah, it's so much fun. I'm enjoying myself there. I'll probably give it a little bit more time and then rethink, see if I go into RE2, but there's not too much more to say that I you know, kind of will save it more for when we jump into our news stories, talk about Diablo 30. But I gotta say, as of right now, I'm really enjoying it. I know it's sad for some of the traditional fans that you can't do it in the old school graphics. It's in the newer Resurrection style of the graphics, but I think I would prefer them if you're still deep in, because I know there's still people that play it. I think they said there was over 1 million players that still play Diablo 2 Resurrected to this day, and
Wow.
maybe in and out, jump in and out. But like, if I was them, I would, if the sacrifice is it has to be the newer graphics, but I'm gonna get more content in this game that's, you know, not been stagnant, got its resurrected and kind of just is as it is. But now you'll start getting more and more things. And the
Right.
trade-off is you just have to play it in the newer style. I, as a fan, would be like, I think I can make that sacrifice. But again, I'm speaking not as a Diablo 2 purist, as someone that enjoyed it and also enjoyed the resurrected version. So before I pass it on to Nick to try and jump on his thoughts, Dave, anything for me that you've kind of been seeing or any questions?
Well, so I did download Diablo 2 Resurrected because it's on Game Pass. So, you know, I know you're paying a subscription fee, but to me, it feels like, oh, I could just play this. I'm not losing, you know, I'm playing it for free basically. So I downloaded it, but I haven't got a chance to play it yet. Just because I really wanted to hit Resident Evil 2 before Requiem comes out. So I'm going to be fighting to try to beat that in the next, less than 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it's right
so
there.
I'm going to be fighting hard to finish this game. I don't know how long it is, but so Diablo 2 will probably just sit on the backlog for a little bit. You know, we get through this Resident Evil phase right now, and I'll be jumping into it once we do get a little bit of white space on the schedule. But you know, it is interesting that people, like, there are the diehard, they want to play the original. But as we've seen with everything, it's like I just talked about how Resident Evil 5 like does need a remaster or a remake or something. Like, it needs to be freshened up because, you know, we saw, and look at RuneScape. It's there's that classic mode, the OG mode or whatever, that people will just, they haven't stopped playing. But it's like, oh, if you want to get all
Someone's
the new
on my podcast that hasn't stopped playing it.
No, I've stopped. But I will say, I will say, when I did play it, I played the old school version, and I will say that the old school, the 07 version, has more concurrent players, I think, still than the new version.
Well,
we were
right.
on a train to sorry, Dave, I just gotta share this with you. We were on a train to DC, and I went to go to the cart, like the food cart, and came back, and I looked at his phone, and I was like, "Is that RuneScape?" He's like, "No," and like you just see him, and it's like auto doing everything, and he's like clicking in there, and he's like, "I'm just gonna get my magic up to 100." You don't understand.
I did. I got it to 99. I didn't get banned.
But I don't say that to make fun of you. I say it in the sense of like, it's so funny how these random little games that are like
the nostalgia.
Yeah, the nostalgia just hooks into you, and
it just came out. That game, and the nostalgia will make me play it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened with Resurrected with me, Dave. Real quick, I'm sorry. Like, when I first went back to it a little while back, I was like, you know, it's fun. I'm enjoying it, but you know, I'm good. But like, for some reason, the magic hit me right now, you know, and I think it was the nostalgia of like this world. And I'm like, oh, but I'm playing this cool brand new class and you know, I think that's such a good way to like keep a game like that revitalized, like put a new class into a world, you know what I mean, and then attack it from a different angle. But sorry, man, didn't mean to keep jumping back and forth like that.
No, you're good. We're all just going on these tangents now. But we could do a whole episode about RuneScape. But no, I was trying to draw the comparison. Like you said, that you have that nostalgia of the old school, but I don't know. Some people get set in their ways, and they don't want. But one way to get new players in is to, like, we would not go back and play Resident Evil 2. And I'd see, oh, this game came out in 1998. Like, I'm not gonna do it. But now
I just watched some of the gameplay, and I was like, looks like shit.
Yeah. But it like you gotta like put yourself in the chair of back in '98.
Right,
You know
when
what I
it
mean? It was
came out.
magic.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like that, but that's where it hits us with the old school RuneScape. Is like when that came out. Like I remember going to my buddy's house where like I feel like at my house we didn't have internet yet, but then like this other guy had internet and he like showed me, he like logged in and showed me this game, and it was like that's when my eyes like opened. I was like, oh, there's shit like this you could do, like
Yeah.
and I'm just watching them kill all these goblins, and it was like, but then like if that game were to come out now, I don't know.
You wouldn't
could be
look
one of
twice
those.
at it. Yeah, you just be like,
Yeah.
You know what's
But,
funny, Dave? I remember you saying this. Yeah, you said it last week too, and I think it came true when it's like when we all went to the park with our friends one last time and didn't know it. And I think you hit it on the head. We all played Highguard for the last time. We didn't know it a little while back, but the one of the few games that I
let's
can
go back
remember
and get all the achievements, boys. We gotta
we got like a month, man, before that thing crashes out.
gotta do it
So
for
close
the
to buying the Griffin skin.
do it for the developers.
That's why I started crying. I was like $100 for the Griffins. But it's RuneScape is that one game that I can tell you I remember my last night on it, and I just knew I wasn't gonna play it again. I just I just knew it in my heart. It sounds so silly, and I found a guy because my character was like named Scorpion and some other numbers, and I found another guy named Scorpion in the world at the time, and I gave him everything I had. And I
That's the only
logged
way
out.
to stop.
And then the guy was just like, thank you. And then it was like,
him.
well, it was like, I almost wish it was like the Dark Knight movie. I should have been like, no need to thank me. And it just turned it off. And then, that guy probably, he spent his life on there for the past 20 years. But no, I just remember logging off because I was just like, I had a lot of fun with it and I played the hell out of it. But that one day, just like when I played WoW for I can't actually remember the last time I played WoW, honestly, because it was like I would leave it and go back like every other game. But this one, it was just like, you know what I mean? Give it the salute.
Yeah.
I'll see you later. You know what I mean? And it was just, I love that I have a memory. Every time I think of RuneScape, I remember that. Just giving that guy all that stuff. He's probably like, what the hell is this dude doing? And it was like good, relatively good. Like, I had rune armor, all that crap. And,
Yeah.
He probably thought you offed yourself after that.
He started crying. He's like, no, don't go.
Yeah.
I was like, only fire awaits, and I just logged off.
The issue with the RuneScape for me, not to get on a complete damn tangent, but
remakes and tangents. That's what we're naming this episode.
Yeah. I've gone back to it multiple times, but
he has a RuneScape tattoo, by the way.
Wait till it comes out in VR. We're all gonna be in that shit.
Yeah. Well, you go back to, you talked about the season of life, dude. Like, RuneScape was known, and I didn't know it at the time. None of us knew it, that it was originally designed to where like the 99s were like, the developers didn't even think people were going to hit 99 because the amount of time it took. So it's like this game is based around what you want to do. What I wanted to do was to get 99s and hit the quest, but it's a game that's just a complete time sink, dude. So it's like, I would go back to it for the nostalgia factor and be like, all right, maybe I'll knock out a couple things and try to get to the end game content because it looked cool. But then you just realize, like, it's like you have to do, 4 days to get your skill to this level, and then 8 days of like nonstop monotonous clicking just to get your character to where you could play like a cool quest. And it's like, you just don't have it in you to do it. Like, I know as me as a gamer, like, there's too many other great things out for me to spend 6 hours of a day clicking in the same pattern. Like, I just could not do it anymore. And I truly think that I've played my last days on RuneScape because I just don't have the time for it. The mobile's kind of what got me back into it, because I could pull it up on my phone and like, you're going on a ride or something. Sure, you do it, but it's like,
no, I've gotten away from.
What's the point of it?
I have no games on my phone anymore because it's like we've
It's
talked
dangerous.
about this.
It's dangerous.
It's like I want. you want the quality. You want the art, the top rated. Like it's anything with you start watching a Netflix show and you're like, oh, this sucks. There's so many other options. You don't even finish the show anymore.
Right.
It's like that with games, to where it's like some of those mobile games, they can suck you in. Like I was playing one like years ago where it was kind of like Civilizations or something, where you're like, you got to upgrade your town and get to the next era. Get to the medieval age and stuff. And it was so much fun, but it was just like a total time dump to where I'm like, what am I doing, man? Like those mobile games can get you.
Yeah. But I'll give my thoughts on Diablo 2 because I played it a little bit as well. And I'm actually running the same exact Warlock as you, Stan. I've rolled a couple of them to see. Initially, when I played Diablo,
what's the name of your Warlock, real quick?
Shit. I did
Did
a
you
random name.
randomize? What do you think mine's called?
Is it fucking Garrosh? Oh, no, fucking Garrosh. What's his name? I'm trying to think of it.
I'll tell you what. I think you already know what who do you think it is?
It's the damn Warlock, the Orc Warlock from World of Warcraft.
His name's Gul'dan. It's Gul'dan.
Gul'dan, that's it. Yeah, that's his fucking name. I knew it would be.
He knew right away. He's like, wait, no, it's that. I know it exactly.
Yeah, at least I was on the right path with an orc from WoW.
I'm predictable. Sorry.
Yeah. It's so when I initially played I Diablo 2, I was a necromancer. So I kind of like went that same route initially. I dumped heavily into the demon summoning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I was getting wrecked. So I went ahead and re-rolled, but what I understood from this game is the re-rolls, you get one re-roll, at least from where I'm at, initially in the game after you clear the Den of Evil, which is giving nothing away. I mean, it's just one of the first little dungeons you go into.
And also you can give it away. I mean, this game technically at this point.
It's been out. So you clear the Den of Evil and you get a re-roll. But after you use the re-roll, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used it thinking I was, because I haven't played in so long. And I was like, oh, yeah, I could just come back here and get a re-roll whenever. So I re-rolled and tried a different path and I didn't like it. I went back and I was like, oh, shit, I'm locked in. And what I just re-rolled sucks ass. And so I made a new character and I went the fire and it's like heavily fire, slight demon summoning route where I've dumped heavily into the fire abilities and just enough of the summoning to have a summon, but I got to the second tier of what the summon's called. I forgot, but it's the fire summon, and I got him now. And yeah, dude, I'll say it's been fun. It is. I played Diablo 2 original. For me, the gameplay is so similar that I don't think that the graphics, like when we compare it to RuneScape, like the entire gameplay is different in 07 compared to like RS3, which is what the new RuneScape's called. They have abilities like WoW and ability bar and all that stuff, and all of 07 is RNG based. Of course it's based off your gear, but a lot of it's still RNG. So for me, the Diablo 2 is really just a graphics thing. It shouldn't stop, I wouldn't say, the average gamer from playing it. Just if you're going to get it kind of HD graphics, why not? But
well, it's very
I don't know, man.
It's very respectful of the original in a lot of ways. And Dave, when you were stating like people are set in their ways, Nick, I just don't want to lose this thought. So like there's also, besides the new class, when you do Reign of the Warlock, it updates all the stash tabs, makes everything a lot easier and manageable. But if you don't want to engage with it, it does not change the base game. So you can keep playing the base game if you want to stay a purist, and they respect that. So Reign of the Warlock isn't mandatory to keep playing Diablo 2. So just a thought to put out there.
And I did see a lot of people with positive comments about the stash updates. I saw people that were really excited, like they went back into characters that they've like highly leveled and were like,
Mhm.
"Oh man, I want to get back out there because now I have more space and I'm able to organize more things." So I think
Only
that
keep
that
track
is,
of your items now, which I
yeah,
know I guess was huge. Yeah, so
that's a great quality of life in any game. I think when and I know in like PoE2, like when I was heavy in that, like one of the first things I bought was like the extra stash tabs because
they're
I'm a pack
mandatory. I
rat
feel
in
like they're
games.
mandatory.
Yeah. I'm a pack rat in any game, man. I find things except for Resident Evil 2 where I destroyed the key that guy saved that is making me rethink my entire playthrough. But like it was either that or 12 rounds of handgun ammo and I made a
You had to
decision
get
I
the
thought
12
was best.
rounds.
Yeah. But so what basically I'm getting to with it is it fun? Yes, but I've played this game and I am definitely now in Resident Evil 2.
Mhm.
I'm not going to revisit this until I beat RE2, until I play Requiem, until I have downtime. Like it's fun.
Marathon.
I'm enjoying the character, but it's like you know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
I'm in the stage right now with how 2026 is shaping up. I want more new things. I want to experience new things. So it's fun, but it's like kind of like it's a little bit of going through the motions because it does
Yeah.
respect the original a lot, which I do appreciate, and I'm sure diehard fans appreciate, which I'm not. I'm gonna lead with that. Um, but I do like it's very simplistic, I think, in the class building, but it's also very unforgiving. Like, you better commit to what you're trying to play in this character. And so that can kind of dissuade new characters, I think, or new players, I think. But when you kind of get it down, like the one I have now is kind of doesn't feel overpowered, but it feels like I'm ready to I can't wait to see a legendary enemy or like, a boss
Mhm.
that I'll get some good loot from to where when I rolled the first character that wasn't really well mapped out, like I was just getting wrecked. So
Terrified of running into anything. Yeah.
yeah, so it's fun, but it's definitely going to be like I think my gap filler throughout the year in terms of a live service game that I'll hit. But right now, RE2 man is hitting it for me, so I'm gonna stick with that one.
No, I could totally understand that. And like to your point, like you have something new that you had never tried before in preparation for something brand new that we're all going to be jumping into next week. So I can't fault you for that. And again, you guys talking about it's got me excited. I'm really thinking about jumping in,
You
which is
should, dude.
awesome. But like I said, we'll cap Diablo 2 right here. And the other thing that I've been playing, boys, and have completed after 40 hours, my journey in Dragon Quest VII has come to an end. I did everything. I beat the game, did the post game, there's like extra arena battles. There's a 2 extra final bosses, secret bosses that you go through, and beat all of them and got my killing. I finished the game at like level 91, so did some leveling, some grinding. I found a good grind spot for finding some metal slimes and taking those guys out, and they give you a bunch of extra experience. But they're such turds because they run away before. If you like don't kill them fast enough, they run away, and it's just infuriating. But there's little tricks of the trade using the different vocations. But I'll start from the very beginning. Before I continue with Dragon Quest VII, I want to revisit Mio for 1 second. And after sitting on it and recency bias aside, I have decided that my rank at the time was 87.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of an 82 for me, kind of pushing down to an 80. After sitting with it, really thinking about it, I kind of wrote out my whole experience.
Knockdown, poor Mio.
and you know what it was, Dave? It's
What
what
Mio ever do to you?
it's what you said about will I be talking about Mio for the rest of the year? And we haven't
No,
been talking about Mio this is the first time we talked about Mio since then. And yes, it was
Mio. I'll let you finish, but Reanimal is more to me I'll talk about that over Mio already, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't disagree.
Yeah, and I think it was a treat. I think Mio was a treat in the sense that it reawoken me to the idea of these Metroidvania side-scrolling games, to the point where I was excited about Sons of Sparta, but we'll talk about that in our first news story about, state of play and everything, kind of the aftermath of that. But I say that and I give that 82 to Mio because I know at the end of the year I will be talking about Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. I know all the games that are coming. I know that we have a heavy calendar with a lot of white on that calendar. It's full of all these great games, and Sony just added a bunch to the roster too. But what I stated, I said the same thing last week. This feels just like a cozy, warm blanket and was such an excellent, wonderful experience in so many different ways. From the way the story is structured, from these islands, which I can akin them only to anime arcs, kind of like this arc is, this is this island's arc, and, it's consolidated stories that have an ending and they're finished, and then you go to the next island and next island, and then they all at the end come together, and that's what I love. And that's what I was kind of concerned about. I was like, are these gonna all matter? And even doing the extra ones, they matter. Like they give you extra, these different stories, different perspectives, things that happen. The world continuously opens up. You start with that really tiny map, as Nick can tell you, from the demo to the entire thing being full of islands, and be able to you switch from a flying carpet, then you get like a stone airship that can fly around the world, and um, you have your ship, your normal boat and stuff like that, and go dive and go under the water. And then there's different, worlds underneath there. And like you find out, it's like your typical anime-esque story. Like you're the heir of an ancient pirate king, and you're reliving his legacy, is hence why your whole family's like has this akinness to the water and this feeling for exploration. um you fight you basically fight the devil, and then and this game came out 25 years ago, so I do apologize. I will go into some spoilers, but like the Demon King is the ultimate enemy. It's mentioned throughout the thing, and you think you beat him at one point, and then the story has another 10 hours of content where you realize that it's not as simple as that, and you go through then. And I know Nick likes to make fun of our boy Kiefer, but like he has even a moment where he comes back as a man, like a full grown man, and like he's lived this life. And then you find out that one of your party members is one of his kids from that time frame, and he kind of gets to understand that the decisions he made mattered because now his daughter is with you in this final battle and becoming a hero. And he joins you in that final epic battle with the Demon King. And then when that's all said and done, like these other worlds open up, and if like what I did, I was doing completionist. And I will start here that I have every trophy except the most annoying trophies possible. And
I was
I don't
about
know
to
if
ask if you got the platinum, but
I could, but two of them are luck based, where you have to play like a memory game, and it's like a shuffling memory game, and it's like I don't know if I have the patience for that. Other one is you have to collect every single item in the game, so you have to go to every store. But yeah, and there's no way of keeping track of which ones you have and you don't have. And then the last one is the mini medals, which is doable, but again, having to backtrack, go everywhere, check every little thing, every crate, and they're so inconsistent of where mini medals were. So like I had enough to get like the necessary things to continue to get all the maps. And so
yeah,
like there's those normal islands, and throughout the story you unlock special ones. Like there's the turquoise tablets you find, and you find the black tablets, which bring you to the to the dark realm. And then you find the silver tablets, and then a gold tablets is the final one. And these ones are like a remix of the world. So when you do the silver one, it's kind of like it says to another world. It's like a familiar backtracking of old places. And at the end of it, in typical RPG fashion, you battle God, the Almighty, and he challenges your strength and everything like that. And that's in the silver one. And that was a hard enough fight. And then I do that, still grinding, go do some of the extra arenas. And then I go through the gold world. And at the end of it, first you fight the 4 grand spirits, which is the coolest. You can look it up, Nick, if you want. The coolest design ever is the fire spirit. This dude looks straight out of Dragon Ball Z, man. He is awesome. But you fight the water, fire, earth, and wind spirits, and then they combine together, and you have to fight them and God all at the same time. And that's kind of like the final true finale of the game. And again, like I said, I know that some people might get frustrated with spoilers, and we could put a little caveat in our timestamps, but It's a 25-year-old game that's being remade 5 times. I think everyone kind of knows the story that wants to play this game. But like
Yeah.
with all that said, and I kind of jumped into all these different, gameplay things and stuff like that. But it all it's you showed him die.
Oh,
Look at this person's like level 99. But it's kind of the fire spirit being defeated. But you can kind of just look up an image of him instead of doing this gameplay trying to catch. So that's the earth
oh,
spirit, the
there he
fire
is.
spirit,
Oh,
water
dude, he's
spirit, and stuff.
100% out of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, so he's pretty cool looking. But I'll wrap it all in a bow, and I will say, like I stated, like these islands are really good stories. You cover a lot of things that you don't think you would, like grief and the power of letting go. Like I said, the horrors of war, as dramatic as that says, losing friends and what path that sends you down, and leaving your friends to pursue a path that you believe is greater than you. And like even it has a nice little bow at the end when it comes to Kiefer, where like you find like you go fishing with your dad. It's kind of like the last thing you do in the game before like the end game stuff starts, and you find this stone tablet. I guess Kiefer left for his dad. He's never got to say goodbye to him, and kind of explains everything why he did, and kind of left it with he's like, I made the decision of the man that you raised me to be, which is like what a great an epic little line to put in like this JRPG from 25 years ago. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so it covers all those things. Again, it's not like the deepest game. It's not like a Last of Us or something along those lines, but it does like it. And we kept, nostalgia has been a big theme here. Remake has been a big theme of this episode. Nostalgia is the best way to put it. Like it just felt so fun to play. You unlock these different vocations. That would be one of my few complaints. It takes a long time in the game to get to those vocations and being able to unlock more, and then doing the dual classes, which they call moonlighting, and mix and matching those. But like you start building these classes that are insane. Like I have the hero champion, and like when you get worked up, which is kind of like your ultimate, it's called divide, and you split into 3 versions of yourself and can use that attack 3 times back to back to back to back. And then you start unlocking different monster souls. So as you defeat certain monsters, their souls drop, and then you get their abilities. And those abilities can range from you always get to attack first, or you start the match with your ultimate, or you can turn yourself into a tank, and like you have thorns and you put like the cactus heart on you. So there's different mechanics, different ways to build, like I wouldn't say like deep Destiny or World of Warcraft or even Diablo build crafting, but there is a build crafting element to it. Different weapons, different things that they do. Like some weapons have a higher charm but lower attack, and the charm can be like monsters will become infatuated with the character, so then they don't attack, and that kind of gives you reprieve and stuff like that. And so, but like the classes go from anywhere from warrior to paladin to druid, hero, champion, gladiator. So it's pretty cool stuff, and different spells and all that great stuff. They have this one that's called the Frizz Cracker, where it mixes fire and ice, and it like goes together and makes like this nuke explosion. It's pretty sick. Like I mean, they have some great animations in the game and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I end it all by saying, and I will leave it up to you guys to ask me some questions. I will say this game absolutely just won my heart over. Like the moment I know some people didn't like the look of it, the doll look of it, but like that really sold it for me. Like I see that you guys, they took Toriyama's art, they added their own spin on it, and they were just respectful of the source material. Some people are upset because they cut some stuff out of it, but I could not ask for a better consolidated 40-hour trip down memory lane and just have a great, fantastic experience. And I end it all by saying that I give this game a solid 90. Right? It doesn't do anything that changes the industry. Doesn't do anything that will like be like a Expedition 33. I doubt it wins many awards at the Game Awards, but I will tell you this: it was an absolute wonderful experience to start this year in gaming right after Mio. So for that and all that, I leave it up to you guys. You guys, any questions, anything you want to pull out of all the stuff I put on? But that's where I leave it. A big old 90 for my boy Kiefer.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. It sounds like you had a blast with it. And 40 hours. I guess one question, I know you're fresh off it, so it's probably a no, but do you ever see yourself replaying? And like, is there any reroll value to like running different characters, or would it kind of just be, with the different vocations, do you see any benefit to maybe playing again and like trying different vocations? Or do you feel like with the amount of party members, you kind of got everything you wanted to out of the vocations? Or was there something where you had like a hard choice at one point? Do I want to go down this route and commit to this vocation, and maybe I miss out what the other ones are like?
And that's a great question. If you put in the grind and want to unlock these things, you can experience all the different vocations. One cool one that I unlocked, because I got the achievement to unlock all vocations. And that's the cool thing. I will say I got all the achievements, like the battle achievements, like the ones that you have to do that I feel like are playing the game. What I cannot stand, and that will be another one complaint I have for this game, I can't stand trophies or achievements that are just meticulous for no reason. And for prime example, Digimon Time Stranger, another wonderful game I enjoyed last year. And I have every trophy except replay the game over again on the hardest difficulty. And I'm like, dude, I don't have the time to replay this entire game all over again. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of stuff that's frustrating to me, because I did everything else but but going back to your thing, one of the cool classes I unlocked was called a monster tamer. And you can summon like a beast, and then once you max out the vocation, the ability is to summon a dragon. And then there's a soul that you can get from the DLC from fighting these DLC bosses. That's the soul of the original Demon King, which is a giant dragon, which is an awesome ability to have. And then their ultimate is to build up the likely chance of summoning a stronger dragon. Because sometimes you'll summon a little snake and it'll attack someone with no damage. But then sometimes you summon I think they're called crocodiles, where just gigantic dragon that hits them all with a fire breath and stomps them with earth damage and then claws them. You know what I mean? So it's and again, to your other point, I believe once you get the hero for your melee classes, and pairing it with champion for me was just a perfect recipe for absolute damage. You know what I mean? Or if you want to play it a little smarter, rely more on buffs and more on magic, then you can utilize the paladin to make your melee class more of a tank and protect the other ones and stuff. But I went straight with the druid. Also, they get this ability called Omni Heal, which heals the entire party to their full health. So it's you know what I mean? Once you get these harder vocations unlocked, you basically unlock the cheat, where it's you become these ultimate hero characters. And but to answer your question, no, I don't think it's really worth re-rolling and replaying the entire game. You can go back in there right now, and they have tournaments you can keep going into, and monsters you keep going and explore, and you can explore the entire world over and over again looking for stuff. You know what I mean? And you can and as you do it, you'll level up and change your vocations. But I think you get to a certain point, which ones are the best, which ones are necessary, which ones are just kind of cool. And it's funny, you wouldn't think I would use it, but I switched one of them to a Luminaire and a Jester, because they were such a good support character to the other ones that it made so much more sense. Her ability would get everyone's ultimate up higher, and she could pass a turn. So then your hero main guy could attack 3 times in a row. And then another cool thing, your items have abilities sometimes. So I unlocked this sword that once you activate it, you get the mark of the hero. And so after every attack or any skill you use, another lightning bolt comes crashing down and hits them for additional damage and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. But
that's awesome.
I like games where you can kind of add things to the weapons, or keep the same weapon throughout the game and upgrade it. That's something Resident Evil does well. You'll find a little attachment for your gun, and then you see it differently in the game, and you keep it throughout. I know some games do stuff where the weapons break and you lose them, or you have to pick some, but I do like the aspect of just picking one thing and being able to upgrade it.
That's the cool thing. You're always getting new weapons, new gear, new things like that. But eventually, as all games do, once you get close to the end game, you kind of find the best gear, what works the best. And a sick part is when you're leading into that first battle with the Demon King, you kind of get all the spirits give you a different thing. So the water spirit gives you the sea serpent sword, the fire spirit gives you the fire god's helmet, the earth one gives you a chest plate, and then the wind one gives you a shield. So you kind of have this elemental ultimate armor to go into the final battle. So I thought that was pretty cool, a nice little again, full anime-esque touch. Like you go in there with the power of the
Mhm.
spirits to be able to battle the Demon King. The Demon King was disgusting too, by the way. Like at first he's like this giant worm monster with his brain exposed, and you kill him and he turns into like this typical like anime with big flippy hair. And then you kill him again, and then he like mutates into like he's a version of both of them, and then you kill him again, and he mutates where he's like melting apart. You know what I mean? He's all disgusting. Yeah, it's just like, dude, just die. But yeah, any other questions on Dragon Quest VII, boys?
No, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It sounds like it was something that was a nice revisit for you. So
And I
yeah.
will say my final thoughts, again, I gave it a 90. I could totally see where people are coming from, and I think at 85 is a very fair grade for it as well. For me, it just hit a lot of different nostalgia things. Like I said, my love for Toriyama, my love for JRPGs, so there's a bigger push for me, and I know that I have a
Right.
biases to it too. So the fact Colin got 87 is still ridiculous, or 86 now, but I mean,
I agree.
not gonna
I'll
argue
take it,
anymore
though.
about that.
But I'm
So,
I'm
boy,
right.
oh,
I'm
go ahead.
definitely right there with you on the achievements / trophies thing. Just starting to become a chore or monotonous. Like, you know, the earliest one I could think back to, and we always talk about it on the show, Halo 3. But to me, that was like that's how achievements should have stayed. Like you had to find the skulls, right? But it was what 10, maybe 12 at most, not even throughout the campaign. And they were all like kind of interesting to find. Like some of them you'd even be like, oh, I didn't even know you could get on this rooftop that you could snipe from here next time you play. Like, but now, and then all these other games kind of try to copy that. Like in Call of Duty, you had to find all the intel or something, but it didn't mean anything. It was just in some random corner. And so many games have that now to where I used to be such a completionist. Really starting back from that 360 era when achievements were fun, and it was like beat Gears of War on 4-player co-op. I remember doing that on the third one. I think like the achievements were so fun to play. But nowadays it's like they just send you on these hunts, like, oh, clear the whole map, find these 50 to 100 collectibles, and it's just like, dude, that doesn't add anything to the game. It doesn't add any more fun. Like that,
It does the opposite. I feel like it sours your experience sometimes, where it's like,
right? You're just like,
and
I'm
that's
not
why I
gonna-
stepped away, because I was like,
Mhm.
I'm loving this entirely too much. If I try to do all this tedious shit, this is
Right.
gonna piss me off.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
gonna
mean?
ruin it for
It
you.
ruins
Yeah.
it. I've really shifted from that. Take us back to the 360 era. There would be like some hard things you had to do. I mean, it was the co-op era. It was the fun, like, hey, get 4 people and do this mission, and you like it was fun to do, not just like go clear the whole map and find all these plants and like it's like,
Yeah.
dude, we've done it before. It's the same thing in a different skin.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like for myself, like looking back at this game, I did all the hard stuff and the extra challenges and the stuff that would usually back in the day give you that either
Mhm.
1,000. No, that was it. 100 game with the diamond. Is it 100 or 1,000 that you would get? So it's like basically equivalent to a platinum in PlayStation.
Well, they
Most
don't
game
have that typically in Xbox.
Yeah, so I know this could be another topic in a future episode, but it sounds like there's an achievement overhaul coming. And going back to Mio, I did notice I didn't go this far with Mio, but there's one final achievement in Mio that shows unlock all the achievements. And it has
Okay.
but it's for 0 gamer score. But to answer your question, yeah, most games release with a base 1,000.
Oh,
and
okay.
then how it was back in the day, like a DLC pack would be another 250. So like I think Halo 3, it was like 1750 total by the time they had all the map packs. And now like something like Master Chief Collection has like 7,000 total or something because it has all those games combined. But
So basically, maxing out that game is your equivalent to a platinum.
1,000.
Like I have the
Yeah.
1,000 on Halo 3. Okay.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
But yeah, and that's what I like, and I bring that up like because like I'm like, dude, I did all the extra hard dungeon fights, and I did the 2 final secret bosses. That's shit enough to give me the platinum. You know what I mean? But
Collect all these scraps for what? Like you're just it's the same thing in a game. You're just running around watching a YouTube video it's like it doesn't you already got the experience, so I'm right there with you. Like just move, just keep that memory in your mind and don't worry about unless it adds something, unless it's like, you know, documents that
Yeah,
like
well,
add to
like
the
I think doing the
story and you're
extra stuff I
interested,
did
but
do made it fun for me. Like fighting these
yeah.
extra bosses, I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like I didn't expect to run
Yeah.
into like
Mhm.
the version of God in this game, the Almighty at the top of this mountain, and like
Mhm.
have to battle him, and then do like all that different things like along those lines. But um, boys, we're jumping into the news, but I'm gonna call an audible because we've been going for a bit. I want us to hit Highguard quickly, and then I
Okay.
want us to we kind of gave our thoughts on Diablo already. We'll
Yeah.
hit that a little bit, but I really want to end it with our state of play aftermath, kind of knock out a few things there. I don't think we need to spend too much time, Dave. You and I did a bunch on this, but do want to hear from Nick on that thing. But if you guys are in agreement with that, kind of just to
Yeah.
just quicken the pace, because you know how we like, and I love it that we just let the conversation start flowing and we're in it.
There's people
But
right now just sitting. They already got home 30 minutes ago. They're just sitting in their driveway listening. They're they're wait, they're waiting for us to wrap it up.
like, come on, guys, I gotta go say hi to my kids before they go to bed.
Yeah.
But so all of us jumped into Highguard. We liked what we played. We did have our critiques and everything like that. Since then, they have laid off some of their team members. They came out with their new season, which no one was talked about. And from what it looks in all, everything's pointing this way. We've had some devs give interviews where they're kind of blaming the gamer, and now it's become more of this whole crazy gamer versus dev thing. There's a community backlash that's, we could pull up all these news stories, but everyone's already heard them and read them. My thought with you guys, and I kind of just want to talk about it from this perspective. I don't think, and I keep hearing this term, hero shooter fatigue. And I don't think that it's that, because I don't think you can name 5 hero shooters off the top of your head, but you could probably name me 10 Souls likes. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's fatigue, if it's just like where I think Highguard, and I brought this up when it came out, and then I'm going to pass it to you guys and I'll leave it there. I think the game mode that you came up with that has not been tested and proven to be successful was a cool idea. Where and again, we had fun when we played it. We played it together. I'm not going to deny that. But we didn't go back, and there's a reason why, right? We played Overwatch, and it's much better, tighter, cleaner, fun, and it has more of a, you know what I mean? But going back to Highguard, I'm not trying to say Highguard had to be better than Overwatch to be successful. What it needed to do is, at first I said maybe we go that PV. They had like the Destiny route where like they have this PVE stuff you do and you build up, and then this is a PvP element. Or they could have had like a team deathmatch, control, all these different like like your typical first person shooter modes, and then have this mode as kind of their equivalent to like the Battlefield Conquest or whatever you want to slot special gameplay mode here, and then build upon it from there, if that makes sense. So it's like you had more game modes to work with, like, okay, we know team deathmatch is fun with these characters, these guns feel good, stuff like that. And then we do the siege, we'll call it siege mode for the sake of argument. Then we can go do siege mode and kind of test it out more and stuff like that. I still think this game could have benefited a lot from beta tests and stuff like that. I do not think it did it any favors being the closer of the Game Awards. And I think of it as like a double-edged sword, right? Hear me out. Do I think 100,000 players would have jumped in just on Steam alone when it first came out without the Game Awards boost? I doubt it. Do I think the narrative helped them in any ways? Probably not. So it's like, you got that exposure, but a lot of it was already negative and kind of had the dead on arrival vibe, where even when we jumped in, we were expecting to hate it, right? And we like went in with open minds and really enjoyed ourselves. But but we weren't blind to the flaws that were in a game that felt a little half-baked in a lot of areas. So any string y'all want to pull at from there first, Nick? I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, dude. Like having them finish off the Game Awards kind of set them on a bad path, right? People want to see a big major title, or a big announcement or something, and that didn't do it any favors. I think it just kind of pissed people off. Now, even if they do that and the game's really good, I don't think it does too much to detriment the game. The issue is with Highguard, while we had a lot of fun on it, we haven't picked it up again. And I think because it doesn't truly have an identity of what it is, it's, we talked a little bit about it. It's so many games, it feels like baked into one. And you kind of rush through collecting the gems and doing the base building and doing some of these aspects that the devs maybe thought were like a major part of this game, but it was kind of just like the best part of your game is the combat, and the heroes were fun and all that stuff was cool, and people wanted more of that. So it's like, I think the issue is just the identity of it and saying, okay, guys, what route do we want to take with this game? When it goes into the devs versus the gamers, I just look, I'm always for developers making whatever they want to make. When you do that, and you have every right to, you're the one that's putting in the work, you're the one with the ideas. But if the gamers don't like it and don't agree with it, that's also people's right as a gamer. Like, we all have valuable time. Like we've said here, like, Diablo 2, it's great, but I'm going to allocate my time to something new. I want a different experience. I want to play something that looks really cool. So if you want to be a live service, for lack of a better term, or a PvP online game, you're going to need to appeal to the online gamers at the time to a degree if you want it to be a major success. If you don't care about that, then sure, do whatever you want to do, and I'm all for that. And it may hit a certain niche of players that really love it, but you can't say that every gamer's wrong either. I don't agree with that aspect of like it turning into a big argument. I enjoyed when we played it. Don't get me wrong. I had fun with it, but it's just so much other things that it was too many things baked into one. It wasn't something that stood out to me where I was like, this is really different and really fun and I really want more of it. It's like, hey, this combat's clean. There's a kind of a lot of filler stuff that doesn't seem like it needs to be here, but it's not something where I was like, I can't get this in another game. And if there's another game that does it a little bit better, I'll end up playing that one. There's too much content out there for if you're not going to find a pocket and personalize it, you're just going to lose players. Because, and especially in a game like that where you need a team to play with, you may be the biggest fan of it, but let's say I was the biggest fan of Highguard and I loved it, but you guys didn't play it. I'm probably not going to pick it up anymore because what are y'all playing? You know what I mean? So it's like, you're going to really have to appeal to a mass audience if you're playing a game that really requires teamwork, cohesion, and more than one person for it to be really fun.
No, and I think you hit a great point there when it came to, if this is your identity, then I feel like, and you didn't say it in these exact words, but it should have came out the best possible version of itself. Like the fact that you had to make immediate change to 5v5, which granted made it a lot more fun, a lot more engagements, but then made like the tail end of your raid situation almost chaotic because it was built for 3 people on each team. Not, you know what I mean? It went from 6 players to 10 players, just like that.
Yeah.
Like that's something that's easily fixed in a beta. Not easily fixed. I'm not going to pretend here like I'm a dev, but like
it's identifiable.
Well, yeah, like in a beta test, you know what I mean? Like once you have established, and like we could have told you, like we all brought up the same thing without even talking about having that big old ogre in the middle or whatever it may be. like a big PvE element. Like have PvE elements in there. I think that's why Arc Raiders and Marathon, like Arc Raiders is adored and Marathon's excited for, because there's that PvE element to it too, you know, where it's like we
Well,
can
I
team
think
up and fight the world and do quests and stuff. So sorry, go ahead, Dave.
well, like you were kind of alluding to, just put more out there. And really, I thought about it more too. It's like put more teams out there. Imagine this game, but if there was 5 bases instead of one team versus one team. But imagine if there was a whole thing going on. If a team gets eliminated, then they're down to 4 castles or whatever.
Oh,
Like
that's a cool idea.
it would be, they're combining all those elements, make it a battle royale style, do battle royale, with 5 bases. Like that would be, and I'm just brainstorming. Like there's so many branches you could go with this game, so it shows that like there was something there. They had this shell, but yeah, it's really the power of the internet as well. The power of, you know, you walk into a new high school and everyone tells you, don't talk to that kid. He smells like shit. But then in your mind, you might have had a couple of interactions with that guy, and you're like, I don't get it. I didn't smell anything, or he seems like an okay guy, but like you're gonna kind of start to listen to the rest of the school, and that's definitely what we saw happen with this game. It's like if the pop culture of it was different and people were like, "Oh, you got to play," I think we wouldn't have even touched Overwatch. We would be still trying to play more Highguard because we were kind of like right there, like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." But since the whole popular crowd said, "Don't fuck with it," then we're like, there's no point. Like the quick side note, there's this one channel I love watching. It's I don't know. I wish I'll give him a shout out in the future because I'm sure I'll talk about it in the future. But he just platinums. He he just has like a 10 to 15-minute video of him getting the platinum trophy in a game. He'll like just cut it into pieces and talk about how it was. And it was like 3 days after and I think he makes a living off this. So he had Highguard platinum like 3 days after it came out, and he said he's like Highguard. The title was like got a Highguard platinum before it's too late or something. And it is kind of a cool idea, like just going into these games, and because it might be like you said, it could be gone in a month. Like I know we're gonna get into some of that too, of like the cuts that they just recently endured. But
Yeah, and
that's the
like
end of my rant.
well, yeah, like in pulling at a couple of the strings you just said, like you and what Nick said as well, like the whole dev versus gamer thing, I don't think needs to really happen. It seemed like from what we've seen in these interviews, like that there was comments made like there's no way this game could fail. There's no way, you know what I mean? I don't think you should ever go in with that kind of mentality. And it's like I don't and it's hard for me to believe that a bunch of people really came in, played that game, and thought there was nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think we all agree here. There is something there. But then you said we're on the fence there, and then we jumped over to Overwatch. But it's like you've Overwatch did some stuff, changed some things, but it's so polished in comparison. You know what I mean? Now, granted, it's hard to this new studio competing with Blizzard, but I'm like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like it's night and day, the polish when you really go from that one to this one, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys felt the same, like just from aesthetic to character to everything,
Yeah, and
Um,
just knowing there's no future. Like the people that may have been on the fence like us, like now that it's kind of the writing's on the wall, it's like, no, you can't waste any time playing that game because any XP, or let alone if you were to go buy skins from the shop, it's like it sounds like it's gonna be gone very soon. Where like Overwatch has been going for years, it's gonna have years more of support from the looks of it. So it's like, oh, if someone wants to buy a $5 skin or it's like it seems worth it.
yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll just leave it at like we'll see what happens with this high guard stuff as it continues to evolve. I think Dave, you put it perfectly. I think the writing is on the wall now. You know what I mean? With these cuts happening, seems like it's ongoing on life support. And again, I mean, I feel like it's more of a I think it is the biggest. It'll probably end up, unfortunately, be labeled one of the biggest flops of 2026. It's just a shame because I feel like it didn't need to be that. I think there were so many different routes they could have taken for this to become as successful as it was kind of pitched to us. You know what I mean? Like they don't close out a game award show unless it feels that way. And Nick, you and I were kind of ranting and raving about Diablo and talking about these things. I know we all watched that 30th anniversary recap. I'm super excited about it. I did not play Diablo Immortal, so we're not going to waste any time on that. What I do appreciate about Immortal only is the fact when they're talking about this new Warlock class. So the Warlock was released for Diablo 2, Diablo Immortal, and Diablo 4, and they're all coming out at different times. But what I love, and I don't know, and I don't know how you guys feel about this stuff. I'm such a nerd for this. In the timeline, Diablo 2, Diablo Immortal, Diablo 3, Diablo 4. And with this Warlock character, the Diablo 2 Warlock is learning his powers, is like basically just, starting to learn these things, starting to master them. Diablo Immortal is in the future more, and that one's more established, like really leaning into the powers, becoming more of like a rebel, pushing against it, pushing the envelope. And then by the time now Diablo 4, they pitched it as now this is the master. He has mastered these warlock abilities and has become the pinnacle of what this power can bring you. And I just love a continuity of growth within a timeline. Like in theory, as you play this game, the Diablo 4 Warlock will feel so much more powerful than this Diablo 2 one we're playing right now. And I always think that stuff's really cool.
Yeah.
They touched on the expansion more, adding different things. And that's where I'm like, I don't even know if I think you guys would benefit a lot from jumping into Diablo 4 after this Lord of Hatred thing. Again, it's going to be at this point a big buy-in because you have to buy both Vessel of Hatred and then Lord of Hatred. But like, I told Nick this the same thing. It's night and day the kind of game you're getting yourself into now. Like now they have war tables where you can kind of plot your routes of like how you want to do things. So you can do a hell tide, like all the different end game modes, Dave. So it's like hell tides, boss ladders. You can do all these different things, and then you can kind of gear what you want to get from these things. So you can lean into like I'm really trying to get this type of gear and stuff like that. So it kind of adds to that thing, and it'll be fun for engage in that. And I cannot wait for April. But then we'll talk state of play in a second, but it's basically Pragmata and Diablo come out on the same day, and Soros comes out like right after it, almost, you know what I mean, within days.
Yeah.
So it's like, damn, what a
6 days after.
Yeah, what a packed week of gaming right there. You know what I mean? So I got to really pick and choose. And with me being the PlayStation guy, I need Nick to fix his HDMI, and then we need to get some more subscribers so we can get Dave a PS5, so we can start knocking these games out as a team. But
yeah, we have to divide and conquer. You
But
send me that company credit card, and I'll grab the PS5 Pro.
It's one of those legendary Visa Black cards. So we're looking good as a company, guys. Just has Nick's name on it. He didn't know I pulled one out on his name.
Please
please. But no, and like I will just say I was really happy with the Diablo thing. I know I kind of was talking Blood Knight, but I really do love the idea of a warlock. And going back to my WoW days, me and Nick and I talked about this off the podcast and all that stuff. But like going to WoW, like I always loved the Death Knight. Don't get me wrong, that's one of my favorite classes. You could basically become the Lich King, but Warlock and Paladin were always kind of like our go-tos, and they were always so much fun to play. Basically, that counterbalance of light and dark. So that's all I really have to say about the Diablo 30. I think it was an awesome little thing they put together. I did like at the end they kind of teased. I don't know if y'all saw that little tidbit. They're like, "Oh, just wait until we announce at BlizzCon," and it cut as they're about to talk. So now they're leaving like a big announcement at BlizzCon later in the year. So that gives you like something more excited. See what else they have in store for these games. Some people are saying maybe a Diablo 1 remake or even an expansion added to 2 and some extra stuff for 4. So it's a big time to be a Diablo fan. It seems like Blizzard's really trying to correct the ship with all their games recently. So I'm excited to see what they put together. Anything on that, boys?
No, the only thing I'd say is, Blizzard does such a good job with what you said, this class progression and this linear story. There's so many companies and developers that have a wide range of games, and I don't think they use that all of the good things they've put out to like kind of accentuate the new things they put out. And I think Blizzard's always done a really good job of that, right? They always tie you in with these fantastic cinematics, and they always kind of like hit on your nostalgia. I think they do it really good with WoW too, right? They always pull up little things in these new updates that like is reminiscent to something you might have played in the last expansion, or something that you might have played when it first dropped, or bring these things back to life that people really enjoyed. So it's a new class. It's really cool. I mean, I think it's been 25 years since they've added anything new to Diablo 2. So I think that's awesome that they kind of showed that some love. Obviously, apart from the remaster, but when you talk about just completely new content, to add a new class to that game is kind of cool. And then to tie it all in is this like Diablo 4 is, when you play any class in Diablo 4 compared to Diablo 2, it is such a crazy power jump. So it's smart to say like you're learning your abilities, because your Warlock in Diablo 2 is going to get wrecked. It's a harder game. Your one in Diablo 4 is just going to dominate, once you get it right. So it's smart. It's cool. Will I pick up Diablo 4? Maybe. I just got to see with all the stuff going on in gaming, but it's really cool to see. Cinematics fantastic. I always say that.
Oh yeah, cinematic announcing those Warlocks was amazing.
Yeah.
But Diablo has a whole year to excite us, get us worked up, and especially me being the Diablo head here. So I can't wait to see what else is in store, especially at BlizzCon. But we'll end our news desk here, boys. With the Sony State of Play, the aftermath, we watched it. Dave and I watched it live. I rated it an A. I think there was a lot of great things in there for sure. I mean, especially with that special announcement of the God of War remakes happening for 1, 2, and 3. Again, this whole theme of this is remakes and everything and all that good stuff. But and also Sons of Sparta being shadow dropped, which it's come out to middling reviews, and some people really love it, some people hate it, some people don't think it's as great as it as it should have been. I can't speak to that because I haven't played it, but with the audience kind of got our thoughts on it, and Dave, please jump in as Nick goes through, and I will as well. But Nick, since the audience hasn't heard from you, we kind of want to hand this off to you, and then we'll jump up a little bit here and there. But I know you watched the State of Play. You were kind of sending us messages that day whenever you could, when you were doing one of your situations and everything. But so enough me rambling. Tell us how you felt about the State of Play.
Well, a couple things that I was really excited about the State of Play was Pragmata 1 looked really cool. Those things reminded me of the Attack on Titan. It was very realistic.
I said the same exact thing about those things. Like I said it to Dave. I was like, that looks just like Attack on Titan. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's 100%. So it was really kind of cool to see like a little bit more of that game, and to have like the character. It seems like it's going to be more of not an overpowered type character play. You're really going to be in this protector role and traversing this strange world. So it looked really cool. I was really excited about that. Control Resonant got me really excited that I have that on my list, because that actually looked pretty cool as well, with the different shape-shifting weapons and the kind of I don't even know what you'd call it. The
way you traverse the world and everything.
Like the orientation changing was really cool. How you can kind of go up and down, and what these resonant things are, and going into that. So
when you saw that resonant, it kind of gave me remember the masked enemy, like that boss in Expedition 33? It kind of looked along those lines of that thing. I don't know if it reminded you of that too.
Yeah, it was cool. I will say I was like kind of like, ooh, I was hoping it'd be a little bit cooler, but who knows how many of these things are going to be, right? I liked it, but that game looks like it could be set up for some like really epic boss fights. So I just hope that they just have like all different types of crazy creatures, which I'm sure they will from what the gameplay looked like.
And
it made
speaking
me
of the
up.
Attack on Titan connection on that one too, when he was fighting that big monster in the sky and he does like that Levi spin around the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just like I don't know what I was expecting from that game, but it wasn't that. You know what I mean? When I
Yeah,
watched
me
it, I was like,
either.
yeah. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I was upset I didn't pick Galactic Racer as my counter pick from watching the state of play.
Do you really think so? I think it looked really good, dude. I'm a little bit on the other side of the fence with you. And Dave, I know that's your pick, so I want you to take the fence. But
Well,
you
let me
go
just
ahead,
say
Dave. Go ahead.
this. Yeah, let me just say this. Look, I just see people getting bored of it so fast. Like it you got Forza coming out, man. It's like, yes, is it Star Wars? But I was hoping to see kind of what Dave talked about too when he initially talked about it, like these cool scenes going on in the background. It's like, yeah, you get a couple cool maps, but it's just kind of, I wanted to see like, is there any type of, quote unquote combat, but it just looked like all racing. And it's like, I want them to put a little bit more, and maybe there is that we're not seeing yet, but like,
But Karen is all rock climbing.
yeah,
That's the
but you don't have,
that's the point of this. This
diehard.
game's supposed to be racing. But like for what it's supposed to be, a pod racing game where you can crash people off the track. Like,
That's
I
a
think it
man
looked all
holding
right.
on to hope.
I think it's gonna get a nice 86.
Look,
What makes me mad though, Dave, is I feel like you and I chose really good games and Nick chose this random artsy game. And because of that reason, it's going to rank higher than Marathon and Galactic Racer. And that really does upset me.
No, but we have seen the history of Star Wars games. Like,
that's what I'm saying, dude. They do not have a good streak, and you
No.
have diehard fans. Like, will I play it? Yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna play it. But look, if I don't get to like customize my pod, like I want to do some cool stuff in this. Like,
There's a story too. Did you see that part of it?
Yeah,
it looks like you get to create a character, which is kind of cool.
The Wish version of the Mandalorian hopping in the fucking pod racer. Look, like
that's your racer, dude.
I'm not stuck. You know what I mean? The guy's in a helmet. It's like, dude, I'm not trying to shit on it. I really do hope it's successful, but like, I really just seeing it be like a half-baked racing game that they've slapped a Galactic Racer skin on. You know what I mean? Like, add some cool shit to it. Like, you got this really cool IP of Galactic Racer. Like, make it that, right? I don't want it to be a Forza on a fucking pod. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of what it looked like. It just looked like I'm gonna want a little bit more. I want it to be really interactive, and that's me being really picky with it. But I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm that type of person. I want it to be successful, but I just don't want to like. It's hard because you saw Forza, like you go through these different like time trials. It's open world. Like, racing games can be a whole lot more than, I'm gonna race Hoth, and then I'm gonna race Tatooine, and then it's like, if the maps don't change, how much playability does the game have? Like, are you just gonna can you hop into it with a couple friends and then like do a couple races against them? I mean, where does it go from there? Like, what do after you play Hoth 3 times and race the map, are you gonna race it again?
Well, I've touched on that where it'll be something like I'm seeing right now with Reanimal. It's like you play through, like I think it'll be a game you beat, or just like a Resident Evil or anything. It's like you play, you get something out of it. But yeah, I don't think I agree with you. I don't think there'll be all this replay value like other racing games like a Mario Kart and Forza. Like, it's not gonna be something but I think it'll be something you probably just like play through the story. There might be an online mode or something, but I don't see it being like a long-term game or anything like that.
And that'll be cool, but if it's a racing game, like, then if that's the case and it's story driven, where does your customization come in?
Make your character and make your racer, man. You played Mario Kart. Come on now.
Yeah, but Mario Kart, you're trying to get the stars. You're trying to
maybe you're trying to get the Grogu's
get the
or
golden
something.
cart.
You get the golden Grogu's.
Yeah,
you don't know.
Yeah, I guess they can. I don't know, man. I gotta
make it into something. But it does worry me, I was looking at I love the more recent Star Wars Battlefront games, but they were not received well, or the most recent one, Outlaws, I think. Did you guys play that?
No.
Try Star Wars Outlaws? Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was just kind of like open world fatigue at that point too, so I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to keep it rolling and to not, like I said, I do hope it's really good. I got to see more. God of War trilogy.
They needed to show you.
Huh?
Yeah.
You guys are just thinking like maybe we shouldn't have talked it up so much. The God of War trilogy will be really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Completely revamped. I will definitely hop into that once I get my stuff fixed. Soros looks great. I really wanted to pick that for my pick, but you got the lead on me for that one. I think that's going to be a fantastic game. Every time I see more and more of the gameplay of that game, it looks really cool. And Sons of Sparta, I'll be honest, man. It looks cool, but it's not something I'm like chomping at the bit to get and to buy. I think if I get like a lull after I get my stuff fixed and it's on sale while I play it, yeah. But
well, I got a take on that real quick. So during our video last week, I stated I was like, I might load this right after this, but then I was like, oh man, let me finish Dragon Quest VII before I get anything new. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, reviews started coming out, people started talking about it and everything along those lines. It kind of turned me off to it, because I was like on the fence in a way, anyways. You know what I mean? Because it just came off me just recently. I was like, really don't want to jump into another Metroidvania. I heard this thought, and I wanted to get y'all's thought on it too. Do you think it was shadow dropped because they knew the quality wasn't as high as it should have been, and played off the excitement of a shadow drop to get a bunch of people to buy and pay? Because it's $30 for this game too, which I was a little shocked by. I thought it'd be a lot cheaper just based on like what it looked like and everything. But just, again, I cannot speak to this because I've not fully played it. Just what I've been reading and tried to educate myself a little bit on it before we hopped on today. But it seems like now that the hype has wore off, and then like it's sitting at a 75 currently on OpenCritic. Just want to think what you guys think of that. Like, do you think maybe they just kind of knew it wasn't the best, or they kind of knew it was good and maybe it would just benefit from a good shadow drop and try to get the hype train to get people to buy it and play it? But maybe I'm just kind of conspiracy theory over here.
To me, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say I agree with that, because here's my initial thoughts, and I'm a big God of War fan. Is I wasn't excited about it. I'll be honest with you, because you're like, that's like if Halo made a 2D side scroller, like,
which they have had.
I think I would play that.
Yeah, but it's like cool.
Well,
but
they've had like Halo Spartan Assault and some of those. That did you guys even play that?
No. What is that?
That's what I'm saying. But like, if you were waiting,
that's what God of War just did. It's like, no, I don't think people will be talking about this.
Yeah, well, it's like if you were waiting for the next great Halo installment, and they say, what we've just made is a Halo 2D side scroller. You know what I mean? And what we have as Halo now is what it is. I'm like, that's cool. I'll probably pick it up at some point, but it's like, that's not what I'm looking for next in the franchise.
Yeah.
So that's what it was to me, was like, it's cool. It's kind of cool. They prequel and it's going to have that story, but it's like, it's kind of like a shit, we got to put something out for the fans type game, which is, and I appreciate that and I will play it and I look forward to it. But, I'm not chomping at the bit to play a side scroller of God of War. There's already developers and companies that make great side scrollers, and I don't think, I don't know.
Well, in
Some people
comparison, the
have their types of
Castlevania
games.
reveal to that, I feel like, you know what I mean? That Castlevania thing looked so much cooler to me.
Yeah,
Sons of
and they
Sparta.
have it down, and you have your side scroller basis and your people that love those games. They're going to be hard pressed to, let's say, people that only play side scrollers or that's their favorite games. They probably never played God of War, and this is speaking just completely broad. I'm sure some have, but like,
Yeah,
if
but
their
generally
genre
it's
is that,
different.
they're not looking for a God of War side scroller. They're looking for
Yeah.
their next Castlevania or their next game that's already mastered the side scrollers. What's the next great side scroller? You know what I mean? That was my thoughts on it. I'll play it. I have seen the reviews I think it was like 72 on OpenCritic.
Mhm.
I did look at that before we
Oh,
started.
it dropped a little bit?
It was like, yeah, I think it was 72, maybe a 75, somewhere in there, way lower than I anticipated.
Yeah, same.
And a lot of people were shitting on, I guess, that you can't do the co-op until after you beat it, which
That's
is
valid. That's valid
frustrating.
because it felt like it was marketed as co-op because we said that during the stream. Was
Yeah.
like,
It
While
looked
it was
like it.
playing, I remember saying like, "Oh, you can play co-op." That to me, that always adds value.
because imagine
Yeah.
how pissed you would have been, Dave, if you'd have bought it that night. Like you had a PlayStation, and you're in the thought process is me and Lauren are gonna hop on this thing as soon as we get done with this stream, and then you find out, oh, I got to beat the whole game first before we can play together. You would be livid. You know what I mean?
Right,
I feel
because
like you would, but
because a lot of I mean, that game you might play on the same screen, but a lot of times what we would do is like we download it during the day. So whatever we're planning to play, like Resident Evil 5, we both downloaded it. So to go through all that work and then realize you can't even play together, I see the frustration. Like, because I would buy something if it's co-op, but like Resident Evil 5, I wouldn't have got it if I had to play it by myself first.
yeah. Anything else on that state of play, Nick?
No, boys. I think we're at 2 hours 30 minutes. I think we gave the people what they wanted today.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we've been going on for a bit. We had a lot of great conversations, a lot of great things to talk about today, and I appreciate both of you guys. I know we've all came straight off work to do this bad boy, and what we're most grateful for is our, we have subscribers jumping in, people watching us, the views are shooting up, and we truly, truly appreciate all of you guys supporting us, getting into the content and everything, and just know that it's a passion project for all of us, and we're, just doing something we all love to do, and what better than to talk about the hobby that we love a lot. So Nick, Dave, I appreciate both of you guys. I hope you all have a great evening. These boys are going to keep grinding through Raccoon City. Hopefully have some more to talk about next week. I'll see if I'm jumping in, but we can't wait to see y'all. And just always remember, make sure you like, subscribe. That helps us. Make sure you're watching our daily shorts, and always remember, keep grinding, keep gaming, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you guys. Good night, boys.
Thank you.
Good night, boys. Nick, watch some videos about Mr. X before bed.